Iowa, corn is more than a crop, it's a currency, but it's also a symbol of a hard-nosed work ethic. Tonight, Blue Collar America opens its arms to blue-collar racing. I say it every year, but it's oh so appropriate. Is this heaven? No, it's Iowa. Parker Kligerman new to the top 5 after finishing second 2 weeks in a row. Busher is hungry for victory lane, a place Austin Dillon found here last year. Cole Witt is charging, but Johnny Sauter, he may be from Wisconsin in this series, he is currently our top Hawkeye. Along Interstate 80, 40 miles east of Iowa's capital, sits the Iowa Speedway. The 7/8 mile track covers 600 acres of farmland in picturesque Newton. In a state where dirt under your fingernails is a badge of honor, the setup presented by Polaris is on. Hello, everyone. I'm Krista Voda. Welcome to the setup and welcome to my home. You know, growing up 2.5 hours east of here, this track was nothing but a field of dreams. Now, it is one of the hottest tickets in the heartland. And speaking of hot, we are bringing the heat today. Temperature 100. With the heat index and the humidity, I've heard it was as warm as 126 today. And they actually say the hot stuff doesn't come till tomorrow. Unbelievable. And speaking of hot, we've got some hot action on the track. Ray Dunlap and Hermie Sadler will be covering the pits tonight. They are down with the drivers in the corral. What's going on, guys?
Well, Krista, let me get started because I'm over where the trucks are actually parked. You know, Todd Bodine has driven for Germain Racing in truck number 30 since the beginning of 2005. But tonight, that all changes. Check it out. Here's the Monaco RVs, an international truck. It's number 5, and normally it says Travis Quapple up here. But this week, a combination between Randy Moss and Germain Racing puts the Onion in it. The two-time champion for the first time in 150 races, not driving directly for Germain's. Hermie?
Well, Ray, a driver that we've seen consistently run up front in his time in the Camping World Truck Series is Timothy Peters. Last 5 races, though, a little bit of a skid for you guys, but qualified 4th tonight. Can we turn the tide back in the right direction?
Absolutely. This is like a breath of fresh air for our Crescent Tools Toyota Tundra. So everybody did a great job getting the balance that we needed. I love short track racing. Glad to be in Iowa.
As Timothy Peters, he looks to turn it around tonight. Krista?
All right, thanks. One of my favorite things about being back here in Iowa. Ray, actually, do you have more? Late breaking.
Hey, we're down here with the drivers, Krista, so let's get it on. How about Justin Lofton? I was talking about the big change for Todd Bodine this week, but you made a change, getting from Germain Racing over to Eddie Sharp. How has that transition gone, and what's your expectations tonight?
Oh, it's been awesome. We have collegecomplete.com on board now, and it's been awesome with Dan Borman as a crew chief. And we unloaded. Great truck is, I mean, pretty much exactly the way it is unloaded. So we had great balance last night, and expecting to run top 10, top 5 tonight, too.
New team, new sponsor, Justin Lofton, with a great qualifying effort. Krista?
All right, thanks, Ray. You guys are going to have trouble shutting me up when I'm here in my home state, that's for sure. And one of my favorite things about being back in Iowa, seeing familiar things like Casey's gas stations, Happy Joe's pizza parlors, and Hy-Vee grocery stores. Well, last week, our fans, they also saw something familiar when it came to the person in victory lane. Here's a look back at our last race at Kentucky.
Going into the 10th race of the season, there were a number of drivers poised to bring home the win from Kentucky.
He will start from the rear of the field. He missed the drivers' meeting earlier.
In practice, he said he felt like his truck was absolutely perfect.
Keep your eye on Ron Hornaday, the former winner here.
Cole Witt said he felt like they had a top 5 truck tonight.
Stodder's been the class of the field since we arrived in the Bluegrass State.
In the last 3 races, he has been absolutely fantastic.
Unfortunately, many of those drivers found bad luck in the bluegrass.
Matt Crafton appeared to have an engine just let go.
Hornaday slides, and Hornaday's going to go around, and into the wall he goes.
He took Cole Witt with him.
And now the race leader, Johnny Sauter, is in.
It's going to be a 4-tire stop. They'll go rolling way. Oh, and Sauter may have stalled it. Broken axle, guys. Get ready.
The hood has flown up on that number 3 Chevrolet. I don't know how he's getting around this racetrack.
The freaking hood just came off.
Rip it off. Rip the damn thing off.
Rookie Joey Coulter appeared to be on the cusp of his first win until a late race restart with 5 laps to go.
Kyle Busch is gone. He'll leave them all by a truck length as Coulter tries to regain the lost ground and won.
Joey came on and said, guys, I think I missed a gear there. That's why it didn't go good.
Kyle Busch went on to claim his 5th Truck Series win of the season.
It was looking to be a 3-truck night, and then the 22 is coming on me, so I'm like, all right, here comes another one. And, you know, the caution come out and kind of saved us. He would have passed us, but you know, we never give up. That's our mentality. We might not have the fastest truck tonight, but we certainly gave it our all.
Taking a look at the Ford point standings, there have been some changes. Ron Hornaday drops. Matt Crafton also falls. Parker Kligerman replaces Crafton in the top 5. James Busher up to 4th. Johnny Sauter and Cole Wick continue to lead the charge. Hermie is with our points leader.
Well, Johnny Sauter, 2 weeks in a row that you guys have had good trucks but ain't had to finish as you deserved or needed, but you still hold a points lead. How comforting is that, knowing that you've withstood that and you can get back on track here this weekend?
No, it's good. I mean, obviously in a situation like that, you got to focus on the positives, and just proud of everybody at Thorsport, Joe Shearer, all these guys on this 13 truck. We got Carl Chevrolet on the truck this week, and it's a local Chevrolet dealer, so it'd be cool to get them a win, obviously, in their backyard. But, you know, like you said, you know, finishes we probably, you know, obviously didn't want, but to still be sitting on top of the point standings by 23 and to know what speed we've had in our trucks, especially on the mile-and-a-half program, we seem to be pretty good here tonight. We just got to keep going to the racetrack, trying to win races, lead laps, and the rest of it will take care of itself.
That's Johnny Sauter. In 2 starts, he's got 2 top 5s at this racetrack. Ray?
Well, Hermie, let's hear from the pole sitter. David Mayhew had a great run at Texas. You were a former winner in the West Series here at this racetrack, and a pole tonight. How realistic is it for you to get a win tonight, David?
I mean, we've definitely got the truck to do it and the experience at this track, I think, but just learning the truck again on the restarts, and hopefully we'll make the right adjustments throughout the race when the sun goes down. The truck's been really fast the whole weekend, so I think we got a shot at it, but we'll see what the inexperience plays there at the end.
All right, we wish you good luck, and we'll find out about his experience. Let's talk to a guy who's got a great deal of it. He's standing by with Hermie.
Thank you, Ray. We just heard Ray talking earlier. You're here, new team, new truck, new color. Tell us how your week went to get you to the racetrack this week. And there's your former teammate.
Former teammate. He says he's going to get us all fired from Germain Racing, so he's the only one left, and he'll be the top dog then. It was pretty interesting week, to say the least. You know, on Tuesday, you know, we pretty much relinquished the fact that we were not going to be at Iowa, at least be here racing. I was going to come here to support Brendan and Max, but Wednesday morning, Junior called me up. My cell phone rang about 6:30 in the morning. Called me up, says, "I need you to come over to shop to sit in the truck." I says, "What truck? We got all our seats in." He says, "No, you need to sit in this one." So went over there, and there it was, number 5 Randy Moss Motorsports truck, international sponsorship on the side, and tickled to death to be here. You know, we weren't coming, and it's kind of really a collaboration between Randy Moss Motorsports and Germain Racing. You know, first, I guess this talk started about maybe just kind of Mike lending me to them to see how their team was and what their trucks were like or something, and it kind of evolved from there, and here we are racing.
Well, that's Todd Bodine. He's excited to be at the racetrack and looking forward to getting these guys a good run tonight. Krista?
And it's so great to have Todd Bodine here, and you know, there has some history on his side. The first truck race here 2 years ago was won by Mike Skinner, driving number 5. Still to come, we are bowling with the Richard Childress drivers. Bowling is big in Iowa. Also, Ray Dunlap hangs out with one of our newer drivers. We will see how Steve Arpin stacks up, literally. And also a great charity with a tie to the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Stick around, it's 100+ degrees, and we are just getting warmed up here in Iowa. The setup is presented by Polaris, the hardest working, smoothest riding off-road vehicles, now at your local dealer. Brought to you in part by Camping World and the Good Sam RV Club. Everything for the RV lifestyle, including RVs, accessories, warranties, insurance, roadside assistance, and more. And in high definition by Funai. Funai, fun and innovative. Experience more at FunaiAmerica.com. Well, earlier this week, the Richard Childress drivers got together at the Bass Pro Shops just down the road from the Speedway in Altoona, Iowa for a bowling tournament. Austin Dillon and Joey Coulter were there from the Truck Series, and Ty Dillon and Tim George Jr. from ARCA. Now, here's how it worked. The 4 drivers were the captains of 4 separate teams, and those teams were made up of fans who were in attendance. And you know, when the Dillon boys are included, it doesn't matter if they're racing or bowling. Trash talking is always included and welcome.
Team George, low man on the totem pole, 564, dude. 3rd place, Team Coulter. This kind of hurts a little bit. 805 points. Yeah, we were ready, close second at 749. So, you win, congratulations.
walked out of this track last year, Austin Dillon was celebrating because it was his first win. Big for him, big for Richard Childress because Austin is his grandson, and big for the fans here in Iowa because the number that the late Dale Earnhardt made so famous was back in victory lane.
Can Austin Dillon get to victory lane? We're about to find out. Green flag in the air at Iowa.
Yeah, going into Iowa, it was a track that we felt like could be our first win. I have a lot of laps there from different series. My crew chief and I kind of sat down and we thought this would be the race that we could really go out and dominate.
3 months ago, I said, when we go to Iowa, he's been there 5 or 6 times, I want to go win that race.
Austin Dillon, since the drop of the green flag, has been the dominant Camping World truck.
Not until about halfway during the race, I think I knew that, it didn't matter whatever happened, we could still get to the front.
Right now, a fun day for Austin Dillon.
Austin Dillon just marching through this field.
Try not to get too excited at any point. I was just trying to hit my marks every lap.
I wasn't worried. I knew we had the truck to beat. We turned better in the middle and had a lot more forward bite than everybody there, and it showed all day.
Austin Dillon has a great view out of his rearview mirror. Nothing.
Now, can Austin Dillon, with just 4 laps to go, get to victory lane for the first time in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series?
It's just a dream come true, You think about it, and you dream about it, and then you go do it, and it's a lot different.
Coming out of turn number 4, Austin Dillon wins at Iowa.
Woo! Yeah, baby! We just won!
It just, everything comes off your shoulders. You just kind of sit down in the seat, and it's like, we just won a race in the Camping World Truck Series. You just feel like you're on top of the world.
What a win. I was in the pits covering Austin that day. There you see his career numbers. He followed up that win here in Iowa with another in Las Vegas. But it wasn't last year I want to talk about. It was last week. Last week, interesting indeed for Austin Dillon. You may have saw a little piece of this in our look back at Kentucky. After qualifying on the outside of row 1 and leading 4 laps, Dillon lost his top literally. He talked about the hood coming off. He fought back to finish 14th. But that was an adventure and then some. And there you see the crew having some trouble there with the air gun, the hose getting stuck under the truck. Wow, what a night in Kentucky for Austin, Ray.
And last year, he and his brother had consecutive poles here. Today, he's got the victory, so you got to follow up with a win. What's the likelihood of that happening tonight?
I love Iowa Speedway. I love the fans here, and our truck's been good all weekend. Qualifying was a little snug, which I think will be good for tonight. Got this good setup, got Bass Pro Shops behind us, and we'll be running that Chevy up front, I'm sure, by the end of the night.
All right, truck number 3 going for win number 3. That's Austin Dillon. Hermie?
Well, Joey Coulter, the teammate of Austin Dillon, you guys are really contenders now. 5th, and 7th, your last 3 starts, running up front. Can you cap it off tonight?
I think we got a good shot. Our teammate too's got an awesome truck. I was super happy with how we ended up in race trim, and obviously real happy about qualifying. I thought for a second we were going to get a pole, but like I said, I'm super pumped about how these guys have done the past few races. We've really hit on something, it seems like, and we're just looking forward to a good night.
That's Joey Coulter. He's trying to get win number 1, Krista.
Well, so many different drivers could be factors tonight. They call it America's Place to Race, a first track facility. I want to throw it upstairs to Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip. I hope you boys are enjoying your air conditioning. It's hot down here.
Very comfortable up here,
yeah.
Though, Krista, so thank you for worrying about us. We've got 2 RCR guys starting in the top 5. What have we got to look forward to tonight in this racetrack?
Well, I think there's a bit of an unknown, and we heard David Mayhew and Austin Dillon both talk about it because last year this race was run during the afternoon. This year it's going to be run at night. They practiced a little bit late in the evening, but nothing like as late as it's going to be when this race ends. The old premise for a racetrack was when it got dark and cooler, it tightened up. Lately, it hasn't been that way. Usually it gets looser. So making the right adjustments for the nighttime, like David Mayhew and Austin Dillon were talking about, is the key maybe to getting into victory lane, Michael.
Yeah, I need my driver to step up tonight. We didn't get practice like we're going to end this race in last night, so I need some information out of him. He's going to have to start early, telling me what my truck's doing. Let me know what's happening with it so I can work on it if I'm that crew chief. But more importantly, I'm going to have that driver moving around, man. I can run low, I can run high. If I'm not working down low, I got to scoot up high and learn what the truck needs there. So the driver's a big part of the equation tonight.
Well, Krista, Michael wants his driver to step it up tonight. How about that?
I like it. Bring it. That's what I say. Steve Arpin, a new driver in our series, making just his 3rd career Truck Series start, finished 12th last week. He's a 27-year-old from Canada. And this week he asked Ray Dunlap to show him the ropes, not on the track, but instead in the grocery store aisles.
You know, when I was a little kid, I always wanted to be either a fireman, a DJ, or a delivery truck driver, and today I sort of get my chance.
Well, guys, here's how we're going to do it. We're going to build a display. Best one you guys can build, 10 minutes, starting now.
Oh, I got the lead, Here we go. Where am I going to put it? Where am I going to put it?
The location's everything. We need to find some room, though.
Aha! The beer cooler, the absolute perfect spot. I have to tell you, I'm thinking this looks pretty doggone good. What do you think, Steve?
All right, time's running out, and I am not going to let him beat me. There's no way he's going to have a bigger display than this. I think we're set to go. It looks...
All right. Time's up.
You cut me short.
That's it. 10 minutes. That's all we had. Are you all done?
I think so. Just got the finishing touches on it. A little bit of sweepstakes POS.
Surely you didn't do all of this in 10 minutes.
I had to find the perfect location first. Look at how much room I needed. We know how to work up north here,
Well,
buddy.
here's what I can tell you. My display had a Steve Arpin stand-up, and yours doesn't.
Well, we got the real thing, but yours is cardboard. So here we go.
How do you beat that? I'm pretty sure there was some cheating involved in that display stacking over there the other day. Now, mine looked pretty good, but yours was like 4 times bigger. I don't think you did that in 10 minutes.
Well, we were there doing an autograph session earlier, so we got all the employees there to kind of bring me some extra products, so I got you beat there.
All right, little head start. Tell us about your expectations tonight here at Iowa.
We got a really good truck. You know, it is so hot out here. These fans are so hardcore to come out here and support us in the seat. Speaking of that, we got the Mike's Hard Sports contest going on. Just check out the Mike's Facebook page. We're giving them $10,000 to submit a cool video. But our race truck's awesome. Our Chevy Silverado is really good. We just got a little bit loose there in qualifying, but I think we got a really good truck in race trim. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when the sun goes down tonight. But Iowa always makes for good race, and it's going to be a fun race.
A lot of fun at the grocery. We're looking forward to the number 32 going to the front. Now let's hear from the birthday boy.
Well, what an exciting day this is for Dakota Armstrong. A big day for you. Not only your first ever start here in the Camping World Truck Series, but doing it on your 20th birthday. Happy birthday, and congratulations on your first start.
Oh, thank you. I got to thank everyone at ThorSport for giving me this opportunity, and especially all the sponsors, Feral Gas, Agrisure, and Driver Savings for coming on board in our 98 Chevy ThorSport. So really excited. Just the main thing is just going to be turning laps and getting experience today. So.
And the good thing about it is you got 2 experienced teammates that can really help you get used to. You got 2 great teammates that can what? Oh, you owed me, I know. All right, I got it too. But you got 2 teammates that are kind of sneaky.
Yeah, for sure. They're great guys. They've been helping me out all week, and I look really forward to the future with them. And hopefully we'll go out and have a good race today.
And listen, we will both be looking at this camera shot 10 or 15 years from there and saying, what happened? That's Dakota Armstrong. He makes his first career start here today at Iowa.
It's like our theme around here. That's what we do is smash cakes. Brian Eichler is only making his 2nd start of the year, but he is a veteran at this track. 9th career start in different series at Iowa. He won a K&N East race here in 2008, and he's already been here this year shaking down Carl Edwards' car before the nationwide race. Keep your eye on him and a lot others. More from my favorite track next. The setup is presented by Polaris, the hardest working, smoothest riding off-road vehicles, now at your local dealer. Brought to you in high definition by Funai. Funai, fun and innovative. Experience more at FunaiAmerica.com. And by your locally owned Citgo, fueling good. Iowa has a deep racing legacy. The Knoxville Nationals, the biggest sprint car event in the world, takes place just 28 miles from here. Knoxville and Newton, 2 Iowa racing headquarters. Welcome back to the setup presented by Polaris. James Busher is one of those drivers poised to potentially be a first-time winner tonight. Busher and his aunt, though, are already winners for the work they do with the homeless. Read this to me. What does this say? Welcome, Chris.
I didn't mess up all this.
Welcome, Chris
you
James
draw
and NASCAR. So excited you're here. Thank you for coming.
Wow.
All right.
Note the kids
You
gave
guys
us.
drew little pictures?
This is Space Coast Center for Mothers with Children. We are a 2-year residential program assisting homeless mothers and their children.
What makes our program unique is we really focus on education. The mothers need to have a more solid base in their education so they can achieve and they can better provide for their children and be able to move out of the poverty level. We put them in GED classes, adult ed, or they go to BCC. And 2 of our mothers just started BCC college for the first time ever.
It's a community college here in
Yes.
Brevard County. I got involved with the Space Coast Center with my Aunt Lila. She's been really heavily involved in trying to change the lives of these families. We talked about maybe going on the race truck and helping her raise awareness for the Space Coast Center and put it on the truck in Dover.
Space Coast Center on board that truck. Good-looking truck.
She's gotten donations from people that saw the truck on TV and saw the truck at the race. From Yasmin, James rocks. And then there's my race truck on there.
Counseling is something that they receive as soon as they arrive.
Right.
And the children as well as the moms.
Just helping them turn their lives around. A lot of it's mental and
Emotional
help that they need.
Yes, they've been through a lot of traumas in their life, and homelessness brings a lot of anxiety and depression for both mother and child.
Look, who drew the 31 car right there?
We can house 48 people. Right now we have capacity for 4 families, and the reason we can't take more is we're trying to renovate.
The kitchen, we renovated that completely also, if you remember. We saw that.
It was pretty rough before.
It was about to fall over.
It looked like it needed to be maybe condemned or something. A lot of my family lives here in Melbourne. They all pitch in and help as much as they possibly can. She obviously spearheads the whole thing and leads the pack and gives all these people in this community something to try to help improve their community and end homelessness.
Watching a child arrive here very depressed or anxious and sad and scared, very scared, and to see a transformation with just a few weeks is worth every second that we devote. Busher starts up front tonight. He will roll off 3rd. He is up to 4th in points. Definitely keep your eye on Busher. Also, Parker Kligerman on quite a roll. He's finished 2nd the last 2 weeks. He's also been to Iowa's Victory Lane, winning the ARCA race here in 2009. I talked to him today. He said this could be his best shot yet for a win. Iowans are tough. Our winters are 20 below. Our summers are 90% humidity. It's been a sticky day today. We're just getting started. Welcome back to Iowa. The leader of our Truck Series broadcast team, coordinating producer Dave Lee, is off to tackle a new chapter in his career. We wish him the best. P.S. Thanks for letting us wear Halloween costumes each year. It's a big night for us, a huge night for these fans. On speed.
The cornfields of Iowa are where dreams rise to life. Build it, and they will come. Rising out of these fields is a track built of asphalt and racing dreams, where every lap stirs the spirit. Build it, and they will come. It's a track where young drivers will come to fulfill dreams of victory. Build it, and they will come. Where veterans teach the youth how to compete and learn how it feels to be young again. Build it, and they will come. You may ask, is this Iowa, or is this heaven? But if you hold the checkered flag, the answer may be both.
Through the cornfields of Iowa was cut a 7/8 mile racing gym called Iowa Speedway. Welcome to the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series Coca Cola 200 on speed. In 2 previous races at this track, it was a veteran and a rookie going to victory lane. Last year, the rookie, Austin Dillon, won his first ever truck race from starting on the pole, as did the veteran Mike Skinner the year before. Tonight, it's David Mayhew starting up front and looking to continue the streak of pole winners ending in victory lane. He'll have to battle the heat and 31 other drivers hungry for a win in the Camping World Truck Series. To get things underway, we'll go trackside for our pre-race ceremonies, beginning with tonight's invocation and national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, the colors will be presented today by Sergeant First Class Chad Spower, Staff Sergeant Robert Jones, Specialist Ashley Lord, Specialist Joshua Phillips, who are all members of the Iowa National Guard.
Iowa Speedway fans, we would ask you now to rise, and gentlemen, remove your hats for the remainder of our opening ceremonies. Here to present tonight's invocation, Aaron Laurie from Iowa Speedway Ministries.
Would you bow your heads with me in prayer? Gracious God, we thank you for this beautiful evening at the Iowa Speedway. We thank you for the men and women, the leadership of the Iowa Speedway, both past and present, who have made this such a great event and a great place to race. It is our prayer tonight that you would watch over every man and woman, boy and girl. Be with all of our teams, our pit crews, our fire safety, and all of our fans. Keep them safe. And tonight we pray a special prayer for our men and women who are fighting all over the world to keep America safe. God, we ask all this now in the name of Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
And now, please remain standing in honor of our country and also in honor of all of those who serve and defend her. Please join Sidney Lett in the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And drivers will be climbing into their trucks, getting ready to start the 11th race of the 2011 season. Who will make it to victory lane tonight? Stay with us. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Camping World and the Good Sam RV Club. Everything for the RV lifestyle, including RVs, accessories, warranties, insurance, roadside assistance, and more. By Mobil 1, the world's leading synthetic motor oil brand. Put some NASCAR in your car with the One, Mobil 1. Brought to you in high definition by Funai. Funai, fun and innovative. Experience more at FunaiAmerica.com. And by the Roundup brand. Kills weeds to the root so they don't come back. And welcome back to Iowa Speedway. Now let's go trackside to Iowa's own Krista Voda.
Yeah, I love this track, love the fans. It is hot down here, but they have come out. They are ready to race. Some of the things they're going to be watching for. Todd Bodine, as we said, he wasn't expected to be at this race. He's not in his usual number 30. Instead, he's driving the number 5. Did you know in Iowa, kids can get a driver's permit at age 14? Racing young is common. Well, it's common here tonight because we have a youth movement, lots of young guys starting up front. And that means we could see the potential for a first-time winner. 4 of the drivers in the top 10 in points still looking for that first win. Like David Mayhew on the pole. We've had 2 races at Iowa. Both times the pole sitter has won the race. Will David make it 3 in a row? You're about to find out. Rick?
Thanks, Krista. Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip with you once again. Now we look back one race to Kentucky and the finish that we had there, and the reason it's so significant is the top 6 going into that race all had problems, Phil.
It's really amazing. If Johnny Sauter doesn't have problems that he had the last 2 races, he has a 65 or a 70-point lead on these guys right now. But all of the 6 going in to that race all had problems. I think the best finish among them was about a 14th place finish or something like that. Right now, you have to look all the way back. Here's their finishes right here. Look at Johnny Sauter, 24th. Cole Witt was second going in, 26th, 27th. There's that 14th, 32nd, and 16th. You have to go all the way back, Michael, now to 11th to find somebody 70 points behind. Had Johnny Sauter not had the problems there as well as the race before that, he would have had about a 65 or 70 point lead.
That's right, Phil.
It's time to get the engines fired. We go trackside for the command.
Now, here to deliver the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome Mike Windblade, store director of the Newton Hy-Vee.
Drivers, start your engines!
Okay. No, it's running. Good, fired up.
The trucks have come to life. We've got David Mayhew that will bring them to the green flag. Can he hang on and get to victory lane tonight? Welcome back to Coca Cola 200 on speed from Iowa Speedway in Newton, Iowa. The trucks rolling out onto the racetrack. It is 95 degrees here still for a time just after 7:14 local time. Feels like 119 degrees. It's got to be even warmer inside those trucks. The starting grid will roll across the top of the screen. Out in front, David Mayhew is going to bring the field to the green flag tonight. Joey Coulter will start on his outside. Want to take a look at the particulars of this 7/8 mile racetrack, Bill?
See, what a great racetrack, Michael. Progressive banking in the corners, and that really lends itself. You were talking earlier about guys being able to move around. That progressive banking allows them to do that.
Plus, it's wide. You know, you can go down low in the corner and still be able to exit beside a guy. Promotes side-by-side racing in the turns, but all the way down the straightaway as well.
And we want to take a look at a few different drivers and get to know them a little bit better in our speed spotlight. We start with Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Rick. You know, for years, Tom Peck was a regular on the NASCAR Nationwide Series, and today, his nephew Todd comes to the Camping World Truck Series for the first time. What's amazing to me is what some drivers can overcome in their life, like Todd, who had juvenile arthritis, and he's got juvenile arthritis on the hood of this, and thousands of signatures from friends that are wishing him well. Tonight he makes his first start. He's got one truck and one engine, and this is the beginning of his NASCAR Truck Series racing career. Hermie?
Well, Ray, one of the more difficult things to do as an aspiring racer trying to climb the ladder is to take advantage of limited opportunities. David Mayhew has so far has done just that. This is his second start this year for Kevin Harvick Incorporated. He qualified on the front row. He finished third a couple weeks ago at Texas in the KHI truck, and he's also got a lot of reason to be excited about Iowa Speedway. He's got 3 K&N West Series victories here, and he's looking forward to getting to victory lane tonight, starting from the front row. Phil?
Hermie, I want to take a look at a guy making his debut here. There's Dakota Armstrong, a 20-year-old from Newcastle, Indiana. Again, we know it's his birthday today. He had several karting championships, and then he moved up to Bandoleros, and then switched over to open wheels and ran those for a few years. Began running stock cars in 2008 in the Pro Cup Series. He was signed by Penske Racing into a driver development program in 2009. He has 3 ARCA Series wins, one at Talladega and Salem, and also Winchester earlier this year, and just 32 ARCA starts. This is his first Truck Series start. His family owns a farm in Indiana, and they produce 1 million gallons of ethanol fuel per year from corn and grain. And he will start from the 25th spot, Michael.
Let's go up to the 12th starting spot, Phil, and look at Miguel Pluto. He's from New Silver, Brazil. Talk to him. It's been a rough year for Miguel. He finished 4th at Daytona to kick the season off. Since then, only 1 finish better than 25th until the last 3 races. When he tells me he gets it now, he understands what it takes to run up front. He can't wait to go out and compete tonight. He thinks he can contend. At least I think that's what he said. He speaks Portuguese.
Guys, let's find out what the Walmart recipe for success is. We will start with Ray Dunlap. What are the ingredients, Ray?
Well, Rick, earlier today we saw the ARCA Series presented by Menards here, and we've got a lot of drivers who've competed in both of these divisions. 11 times there have been drivers who've got victories in both of these series. And tonight in the Truck Series, there are 4 former winners in ARCA that are hoping to put their name in this record book. How about the 29, the 98, the 22, and the 31 trying to get their first win?
Thank you, Ray. The field all in line, 2 by 2 behind David Mayhew. Coming out of 4, green flag in the air, we're underway.
What a great start by David Mayhew. Jumps out in front of Joey Coulter. Now James Busher up in the second.
Busher made a good run on the bottom of the racetrack. Now here comes Austin Dillon on the inside of Joey Coulter. Those four trying to separate themselves. Just behind them, they're 2-by-2 for the 5th spot.
Right now, Michael, we have similar conditions to what they practiced in yesterday evening. But as this race wears on and nighttime comes, then that's when the track could change.
Joey Coulter strong on the outside, trying to take that 3rd spot back.
And that's what we talked about in the opening, how much room there is to race here, the different lines you can run. We have progressive banking, a little flatter at the bottom, but shorter around. You go up the banking, it's further, but you got more grip up there. And these guys are taking advantage of it early. I like that run Joey Coulter made on the outside, was able to clear the 3 truck, and now he's going to look to the bottom and see if he can do something with James Busher.
James Busher holding on a second. Out in front, David Mayhew now has an 8-truck length lead over second place James Busher. That equates to about a half a second here at Iowa.
See, back about 8, Parker Kligerman moves to the inside of the 8 truck of Nelson Piquet Jr. in a battle for the 8th spot.
Kligerman on the bottom. Nelson Piquet Jr. on the high side.
That's another guy I talked about Miguel Pluto earlier. He's fast. He's starting to understand how to race these trucks. We've seen that out of Nelson Piquet Jr. too. He's got this thing figured out.
How about Johnny Sauter making the move on the 3 of Austin Dillon? Sauter trying to take that spot away. As now we go side by side for the 4th spot. Sauter on the racetrack, contact with Austin Dillon.
Cut down on, did that give Austin a flat on the left rear?
Well, it looks like it's still up for the moment.
A lot of damage to that tire. That's where he took the hit.
3 wide just behind this group. Those two stay side by side. Austin Dillon has his hands full as he crosses over to the low side of the racetrack, tries to get back by the 13.
He's a little hot under the collar right now, and I don't blame him. It certainly was not intentional contact from Johnny Sauter, but none.
Now Dillon chasing after that 13. Looks like the left rear tire stays up.
You can see Sauter sideways when he's by himself. He put him down on the inside of Austin Dillon. Just a little bit more than Johnny could hold on to. Got up into the side of Dillon.
Great battle for second here. Outside, James Busher. Joey Coulter on the bottom of the racetrack. He tries to take second away as they go down the backstretch.
How impressive has Joey Coulter been here? Over the last 5 races, I think 4 top 7 finishes, has figured this thing out.
As these two run side by side, Mayhew checking out on the field. Has almost a 2-second lead now over second place. These two still haven't decided who's going to run second yet.
I think Joey just decided. Grab that spot away from James. I know David Mayhew was liking what he was seeing in his mirror. But big distance between him and 2 side-by-side trucks, and he was driving away from him.
You know, we talk about David Mayhew, a tremendous amount of experience here. Has run, I think, 6 of the K&N races here. So a lot of experience. Brian Eichler, again, both of those drivers probably the 2 most experienced here. Austin Dillon's run an ARCA race here. He ran the K&N race as well. But I think David Mayhew and Brian Eichler probably have more laps here than any other driver in this race.
Peters and Piquet Jr. trying to settle it for 7th right now as they stay door to door.
You know, we talked about the youth movement in this deal and how many kids in the top 10 in points are less than 21 years old. That's what you want. You want a level playing field. When you come to a track like Iowa, no one's got any more laps than you. I don't care how old you are. We got the same amount of experience, and I'm going to go show you what I know how to do.
Side by side they stay. Nelson Piquet Jr. on the inside in the 8. Timothy Peters on the outside in the 17.
Delson's going to make that pass. Truck looks really good in the early going, Phil. I like the way he's able to stick down on the bottom and was able to complete that pass. That's really difficult to do.
Oh, around in front of him goes Brian Eichler sideways through turn 2.
He's going to keep it out of the outside wall. Caution flag is out.
So Eichler brings out the first caution as we've completed 10 laps.
We just talked about how much experience Brian Eichler has here, as well as David Mayhew. And the first caution is for a spin by Brian Eichler.
You know, in Loudon right now, I'm sure his boss, Kyle Busch, was watching this race after just winning that nationwide race. And you
He's
see
running
him go
by
sideways.
himself.
That's how hard it is to run one of these things around here at the speeds these guys are running. I mean, Everything looks stable, but I'm telling you, every one of these guys is on the edge of control. That's how hard they're pushing it.
And Michael, there's some bumps over there. The tunnel is right at turn number 2 here, and the guys were saying that a lot of times these bumps are really upsetting these trucks, and maybe the bumps induced that little bit of a spin by Brian Eichler.
You can run different lines around this racetrack, down to the bottom, in the middle, and up high, and it looks like Brian Eichler running in the middle of the racetrack got a little bit loose. The back end came around on him.
But it's not over. We've seen a lot of guys spin and win these babies, including his boss a few weeks ago.
Spin and win.
Let's take a look at this contact between Johnny Sauter and the 13. He got loose. He had to chase his truck up the hill, made some contact with the left rear quarter of Austin Dillon, just about turned him around.
Austin Dillon did a good job keeping his cool there. Only a handful of laps into the race, he didn't retaliate on Johnny Sauter. He just kind of took that. Wrote it down in his book, though, I bet, Hermie.
Yeah, no question about it. Brian Eichler did bring his truck to pit road. Eric Phillips wanted to leave these tires on the truck a little bit longer, but he asked Brian if he flat spotted the tires, and Brian said indeed that he did. So they came in, took 4 tires, made a track bar adjustment, and added a ½ pound of air to the left rear. So obviously a loose condition for Brian Eichler, but he's got 4 tires. Not a lot of damage, if any, on the truck. Just lost some track position. He's back on the racetrack.
So Eichler back out onto the racetrack. Eichler wearing sunglasses
underneath his clear shield, and obviously that's the situation when it gets dark. Then he can just take the sunglasses off. I used to do the same thing when we would start a race during the day and then end at night.
Jim Lopez letting him know one more time around. We'll go back to green flag racing.
Good news for Brian Eichler, awfully early. We're only 13 laps into this race, so a long way to go here to overcome that poor track position he has right now.
Let's ride along with Brian. This is on the 18.
This is from the Toyota onboard of Brian Eichler. Drives down in turn number 1. You could almost hear the bumps. You could almost hear that truck going through the bumps, and the back end just kept getting a little bit out, till finally it was too far to catch it.
We talked about experience at this racetrack. Brian Eichler has a lot of experience here.
Talk about experience spinning out. I've done that a few times. And that moment in time from when you think it might go around and when it finally does, that's the most haunting time in a race vehicle. You know, you're sitting there thinking, I think I want to spin out. Can I hold on to it? We obviously found out Brian couldn't.
And he did a great job, though, of staying out of the outside wall. Kept a foot on the gas, keeping it off the wall. We go again with the restart on the inside. Mayhew, outside Coulter. Green flag back in the air.
Another good restart by David Mayhew. Not quite the one he had on the initial start.
But the key to that restart, Phil, why it was a good one, when he got down to turn 1, he could pick his lane. He didn't have a truck on the outside of him that was going to hold him down. He sort of rolled up to the middle of the track and chose his lane through there. Great restart by David Mayhew.
Johnny Sauter on the outside, trying to get third away from James Busher. On the bottom of the racetrack.
Johnny has it. Johnny up to the 3rd spot.
Ran into Johnny before the race. I said, are you ready? He said, I'm ready. I said, you got a good truck? He said, I'm ready. I don't think he was so confident that he had a great truck, but sure looks good early.
He's carried it up to the 3rd place right now.
Riding along with Parker Kligerman.
Couple of strong runs in a row by this team. It's really good to see that.
Around goes Ricky Carmichael in the 4. Right in front of the grandstands. Also slowing behind him. That's the 63 of Jack Smith.
Yeah, Jack got caught up in the aftermath, it looks like.
Ricky's got a lot of damage to the left side of that truck. Jack's going to be okay. Pull some fenders out on that one. He'll be all right, but I believe Ricky will have to have extensive repairs.
Yeah, look at the left rear corner of that monster Chevrolet, as well as the left front.
Monster mash.
He was running in the 15th position.
Wonder if he got a little help or if it just got loose. He got loose up under Miguel, it looks like.
Got loose right there. Fortunately, he didn't take Miguel with him. Look at Ty Bodine. Watch Ty Bodine drive by on the inside. Brendan gone on the outside before Ricky backed up into the outside safer barrier.
We talked about these guys being right on the edge of control. Look at the outside line. Barely sneaked by.
And Ty Bodine was looking straight at Ricky's door and turned that truck hard left to miss him.
Oh, and Eichler runs into the back of Jack Smith and turns him in the outside wall. By the time you're that far back, guys, you're relying totally on your spotter. You can't see what's happening up ahead of you off the turn. And that's why Eichler got into the back of Smith.
The 2 trucks involved in this one, the second caution that's come out here in the Coca Cola 200.
Wednesday night, the car show with Anna Corolla is all new. AC/DC's Brian Johnson races a Lamborghini through New York. And the boys give driving lessons to some beautiful students. Don't miss the car show. That's Wednesday night, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, only on Speed. Saw the debut of that show last week. Pretty funny guys on there.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
AC/DC dude driving a Lambo through New York City. I want to watch that.
You'd do that, wouldn't you, Michael? In all of the different things that you've driven?
If I could afford a Lambo, I would.
And a speeding ticket
Taxi
in New York?
cab's a pretty good ride through New York City.
It would definitely be interesting. This one's going to be interesting. We've only completed 20 laps of this race. We're on lap number 21. Already we've slowed the pace down twice because of cautions. And now, once again, door to door, coming out of turn number 4 for the restart on the inside. David Mayhew outside. Joey Coulter. We'll see how they do on the restart. Green flag goes back in the air.
Coulter gets a better start, and on the inside, Johnny Sauter gets the best start.
Johnny Sauter goes for the lead through 1 and 2. He'll take it away from David Mayhew. Here comes Austin Dillon in the 3 for the lead.
Remember the last time Austin Dillon and 13 of Johnny Sauter went side by side into turn number 3? Plenty of room right now.
Plenty of room. It didn't work out so well the last time. They're side by side for the lead. Sauter led by 21,000th of a second that time by.
You see that bad bump over there when they went over the tunnel. It's really upsetting these trucks.
I love it. It's upsetting the trucks, and it's making it fun for the fans. These guys have got their hands full over there in turn 2.
Johnny Sauter, Austin Dillon, Joey Coulter, 1, 2, 3. Mayhew's dropped all the way back to 4th. James Busher running 5th. There's Mayhew working to the inside of Joey Coulter, trying to take 3rd away from him.
Look back there in that 5th spot, Rick. This is a truck I think could be really strong tonight. Nelson P.K. Jr.'s up on the outside and coming.
Riding along with Austin Dillon. The view that he has.
You can see some of this racetrack is now in shade. So this racetrack could be changing for these guys.
Dillon on the back bumper of that 13 of Johnny Sauter. Down to the bottom of the racetrack goes Dillon, trying to find the line where he can get an advantage over that 13.
Great battle for 4th. There's PK on the inside of Mayhew.
Mayhew was like, I like the start of this race much better.
And even the first restart after the first caution flag.
And, you know, he did it perfectly. And then that 3rd one, he didn't get the jump he needed. And all of a sudden, he invited Johnny Sauter and 2 or 3 other guys into the play.
Austin Dillon still looking to the inside of that 13. Johnny Sauter. Dillon running in the 2nd spot now, Ray.
And Rick, I just wanted to add that he was very, very free on the initial run, and of course he was a bit perplexed about what happened to Johnny Sauter there in those early laps, but he said, don't worry too much about how this truck is handling now. Let's get to about lap 50. He said, remember when the ARCA cars come off with the Hoosier rubber, it can really upset what it is we think these trucks are doing. He said, I want to wait and see till we get past lap 50 to give you the best information. That's to his crew chief, Danny Stockton.
And that's a good point to it. In addition to the fact that the weather is going to be changing here, cooling off as it gets towards nighttime, they have the other issue with the fact that the ARCA Racing Series cars were on a completely different kind of tire.
Look at this battle for the lead, y'all. Austin's trying to work that bottom. Coulter's closing on the 2 of them. Sauter's able to hold them off so far. There's racing all over this place. Saw Hornaday get a hold of the 29 a minute ago. Max Pappas got in an argument with Justin Marks.
PK Jr. has pulled ahead of that battle with Mayhew into the 4th spot and just 4 or 5 truck lengths now behind Joey Coulter.
Way up the racetrack goes Johnny Sauter once again, running that higher line. Austin Dillon staying to the bottom of the racetrack. Austin Dillon was out front of the field for 87 laps a year ago at this racetrack, grabbing his first win. There's Busher trying to take 5th away on the right side of the racetrack, the right side of your screen.
I love that high line. This place really promotes you going up there, especially if you're a little loose down on the bottom, Phil. You can kind of get up there and arc that corner more, maybe help your truck's handling out. That's what I've talked about earlier. As a driver, you have options here. You can make your truck handle better just by running in a different place on the track, and that's what these guys are doing.
And letting that little bit more banking maybe catch that rear end of the truck.
These two racing for the 7th spot. Crafton on the bottom of the racetrack. Cole Witt, that Red Bull number 60.
Michael, you said you ran into Matt Crackton in the garage here, and he said he has a truck that can win this race.
He definitely does. And, you know, very rarely do you find a driver who was as confident about that statement that Matt was. He said, you watch. Qualified didn't go great. My carburetor stumbled a little bit. As long as we don't have a problem with that carburetor, my truck can win this race tonight, and I think I'm going to win it. So that's good news for Matt Crackton. He hasn't been the Matt we've come to know and love this year. A lot of inconsistency with that team, and that's what he's built his career on. He's raced for championships because he just knocks off those top 10 finishes.
He's had 4 finishes in a row outside the top 10. First time in about 3 years that's happened to him.
I don't even know who that is. That's not Matt Crackton.
4-time series champion Ron Hornaday. We saw him running in the 9th spot just in front of Parker Kligerman. Johnny Sauter chasing down the 3 of Austin Dillon. And behind him, the 22 of Joey Coulter. They're starting to catch the slower lap traffic. 28 on the lead lap. Austin Dillon setting the pace once again. Sauter, Coulter, BK Jr., and Busher, your top 5. Short track racing at its finest from Iowa Speedway. Tomorrow, Speed's ultimate pre-race show hits high gear. Points leader Kyle Busch joins us live. We'll debate how his career stacks up to some of NASCAR's greatest. NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot from New Hampshire tomorrow, 10 Eastern, live on Speed. Hornaday on pit road. Hermie, what's going on?
Well, Rick, his seatbelt has come undone inside the truck, so he's come down pit road to try to get that repaired and get hooked back up. Tough break for Ron Hornaday. He started this race 18th and had driven his way into the top 10, but it's a seatbelt issue, Rick.
Wow. Thanks, Hermie. Guys jumping in there trying to help out.
I don't think I remember ever seeing that, Phil.
You see it happen occasionally. I think one time Tracy Leslie was leading a Busch race at Indianapolis Raceway Park and had to make a pit stop because of a seatbelt coming. It was either Tracy Leslie or Chuck Bound. One of the two made a pit stop leading the race because their seatbelt came undone.
Well, that's a very costly pit stop there for Hornaday. He's going to lose 2 laps. Of course, with the wave around the lucky dog, we could still see Ron get into this thing.
Yeah, we're not going to rule anybody out anymore. We made that mistake.
Yeah. I ruled out Kevin Harvick at Martinsville. He was 2 down. I said there's no way, and he came back and almost showed me there was a way.
I'm just going to ask the question.
Okay.
Only a couple guys needed to help him with the belts. Why didn't they put fuel in that when he came down so he could maybe stay out longer if that became a problem for him?
I thought they did, but
Did they? Okay.
I thought they did.
Okay.
And it wouldn't have taken much if we would have only taken
just
a splash.
Just a shot, yeah.
There's a good bat. There's Todd Bodine. That's obviously very unusual to see him not in a 30 truck, in that number 5 international truck. But Todd's made a nice move. He's up into the 12th spot now, started all the way back in 21st, right now in the rear tailgate of the 17 truck of Timothy Peters.
He brought some familiar faces with him, though, to work on that thing. So that's our defending champion from last year. A tough start to the season. So tough, they parked the truck. He found him a new ride. And, you talked about earlier, Phil, that 11th place is only 60 points out of the lead for this championship, 70 points, I think. Well, Todd Bodine is in that 11th spot. He gets a good run tonight here with a new team. Maybe he can make his way back into this battle.
After last week, when what happened to the top 6 went on, anything can happen in this situation.
Never say never. Ray Dunlap.
Well, let me add on Todd, guys. Remember, we had a tire test out here, and Todd Bodine did that test. He said his truck was absolutely perfect, and the truck that they had hoped to bring here for the 30 team got sidelined a week or so. When they made the decision that they weren't bringing that, they moved it to the back of the shop and threw a tarp over it. When this deal came together Tuesday afternoon, they decided to bring the Randy Moss truck, and Todd said they learned a lot about working on the suspension of this truck, but it certainly wasn't the same as the truck that he had tested here.
A lot of times it can be such a huge advantage to do that tire test or be involved with a team that does that tire test, because so much happens to these trucks and how they handle and how they drive by the tires that are on these trucks.
Battle for the 16th spot. Clay Rogers, who just got done with the ARCA Racing Series race here, just in front of Brian Eichler in that 18 who spun earlier today.
Look at those trucks bounce around down in the corner. Rick, reminds you a little bit of what we saw over in Kentucky. A lot of movement in the race trucks and a great finish. We had a great race we had over there. Those bumps and the undulations and racetracks, the different grooves, all that makes for fun racing.
Still side by side around this racetrack. Battling for positions.
Really have to tip your hat to Rusty Wallace and all the folks that came together to put this place on the map. It's a beautiful facility, so fan-friendly, lots of places for camping. People can hang out on the banks and watch the race from their motorhome. Great, great seating. It's just a really fun racetrack to be at.
Progressive banking lends itself to great side-by-side racing.
You see the outside wall all the way around that racetrack. That's safer barrier. There's no concrete wall outside the safer barrier with styrofoam in between. All that is just safer barrier all the way around this racetrack.
And we've proven beyond the shadow of a doubt we're perfectly capable of wrecking going straight. We wreck on the straightaways as much as we do in the corners at some tracks, and it's nice to know no matter where you hit here in Iowa, it's going to be safer barrier. I think that's why these guys drive so crazy. They know it's probably not going to hurt too bad.
I think it's just in your DNA. Again, Todd Bodine chasing after Timothy Peters in that 17. Austin Dillon has a 7/10 of a second lead over Johnny Sauter. That was the way it ended a year ago. Dillon in front of Johnny Sauter here at Iowa. Joey Coulter, Nelson Piquet Jr., and James Busher, your top 5. You're watching NASCAR here on Speed, your motorsports authority. Thursday, hitch a ride on an all-new American trucker as Rob gets up close and personal with the most famous and iconic American big rig. It's a Freightliner adventure on an all-new American trucker. Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern on Speed. Night race from Iowa Speedway. Austin Dillon out in front. Dillon has led 29 laps. David Mayhew led 21. And Johnny Sauter has been out front for 8 laps.
Here's Johnny just inside of a second and a half behind Austin Dillon.
David Starr running in the 12th spot. Now David Starr in qualifying earlier got sideways in his qualifying run and had to get back out of it.
Started back in the 32nd position, already knocking on the door just outside the top 10.
James Busher going by Max Pappas. Following after that 98 of Dakota Armstrong, making first start in the Camping World Truck Series.
Essentially a brand new team. It's Thor Sport Racing's 3rd team. They've been running, obviously there's one of Thor Sports trucks right there with Matt Crafton, as well as Johnny Sauter, who currently is our point leader and running 2nd. But first, I think maybe 7 races this year is what they're talking about for Dakota Armstrong.
See Matt Crafton, like you said, Phil, he's marching his way up toward the front, up inside the top 5.
Crafton trying to get by Dakota Armstrong and then work on the 31 of James Busher, who holds that 4th position.
See Matt wave at Dakota, let him know thank you for giving him room up off the corner.
His teammate, he had to do that. Got to be social out there on the track.
He threw cake in his face earlier today.
David Starr still working on Todd Bodine. That's been a really good battle racing for that 12th spot. Those guys have been going at it.
David Starr tied his best finish of the year last week at Kentucky with an 8th place finish.
Battle for 8th, Cole Witt chasing after Parker Kligerman.
Talking about some youth movement. We've got it right there in Parker Kligerman and Cole Witt. Cole's 20 years old. Parker also 20 years old, so combined age 40 years old, Michael.
Yeah, I remember the first time I finished 3rd to 2 guys, Brian Vickers and Kyle Busch at Darlington. I added their age together, and I was older than both of them together. That's when you start to look around and think maybe a TV booth might be the place you belong.
How about Parker Kligerman as we see the caution come out once again? This time it's for the 23 of Jason White.
Looks like a right front tire.
Right front down on that 23.
That's really tough right there, Phil, because he needs to get back to the pit, but going that fast, he could drag a sway bar arm, damage the undercarriage of that truck, and ruin his whole night. So have to sort of balance getting back to the pit with not tearing your truck all to pieces.
He was running in the 10th spot, and now with the wave around as well as a lucky dog, I don't think it's as urgent a situation to try to get back to the pits without going a lap down.
Wants to make sure he doesn't tear up the sheet metal on the right side of that race truck as he comes onto pit road and into his pit stall.
Guys will have a hard time. They were able to get the jack under it pretty good.
Yeah, Jason.
Right along with Brian Eichler.
This is Victoria Island Board. Obviously, Jason knew something was going wrong, and very fortunately, I think he felt it as he came off turn number 4, because he was able to slow down before he got down at turn number 1. And you see the right side of that truck with no damage.
He had run a couple of laps prior to that off the pace a little bit. I guess he was trying to diagnose exactly what was going on.
Back out onto the racetrack will go Jason White. So the field once again behind the pace truck. Austin Dillon, his lead now cut back to nothing, and they will make the hard left turn and make their way onto pit road. Hermie Sadler.
Well, Johnny Sauter has not liked this truck since the drop of the green flag. It started out decent, went to the free side, now really, really too tight. He wants 4 tires. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment, a half pound out of the left rear, and Sunoco fuel. Ray?
When you look at the top of your screen, you see Austin Dillon. He has to come around the curve of the pit road here. He'll pull that Bass Pro Shop Chevy in. He wants to be loosened up a little bit. Danny Stockman said, we'll take some air out of the front tires. Whenever you look at the bottom of the screen, there is Joey Coulter. Very, very tight. Up 2 rounds on the track bar for the number 22. They will get their service done. See Sauter away. The 3 is going to be clearly the first one out. And as we look in pit stall number 1, there's David Mayhew, our pole sitter. His truck was very, very tight. They'll make air pressure adjustments for him as he leaves pit road.
So Dillon holds on to the top spot after the race off pit road with Johnny Sauter. They'll restart 1-2 when we come back. Speed's coverage of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series is brought to you in high definition by Funai. Funai, fun and innovative. Experience more at FunaiAmerica.com. And by Aaron's. You don't need credit. All you need is Aaron's.
We don't need no stinking credit.
Aaron's lucky dog goes to the 39. Ryan Sieg. So Ryan Sieg will get a lap back. And let's go back trackside to Ray Dunlap.
Interesting conversation on the radio between Austin Dillon and his spotter, Andy Houston, about which lane to take on the restart here. They said they really hadn't learned anything in practice about exactly what to do here, but they figured if Johnny Sauter's a little bit loose off, why let him have a chance to pinch you down? So they're going to take the high side here. Curious if Phil and Mike agree if that's the right choice.
I like it. I like it. Now, the thing about being on the outside is you can get a good run around the upper part of the corner. The thing about being good on the inside is if you can get a good start, get a break, you can sort of force the issue when you get down to turn 1. So early in the race here, you know, before halfway, I think I want the outside. It gets down to the end, you know, we see some guys go to the bottom just to make sure that they can control their own destiny when they get down to the corner.
And I think the big advantage is for the leader is the fact that he's the one that goes first, whether from the inside or the outside.
Green flag back in the air. Austin Dillon, Johnny Sauter. How does it work out for Dillon on the high side? He has the advantage when they go into 1, but here comes Sauter hard on the bottom of the racetrack.
Johnny's down there in the bumps over the tunnel.
Dillon clears him down the backstretch.
I think Austin thought surely he won't hit me again, too. That was probably another thing that played into the decision.
Sauter up the racetrack now, opening the door for that 31 of James Busher to take a peek.
What a strong runoff turn 4 that was for Austin Dillon. That thing looked like it was shot up off that turn.
Boy, Joey Coulter drives hard down on the bottom of the racetrack inside of the 88 of Matt Crafton. You see Matt wiggle as well as Parker Kligerman. We heard Parker have to get out of the throttle.
Miguel Paludo slow on the backstretch, trying to get up to speed. Going by in the 0-2 of Jamie Dick. Jamie Dick and Caleb Rourke took the wave around this last caution.
No damage to the side of Miguel's truck. They've run 3.5 miles in a row here lately, Phil, and this team and this driver has gotten up to speed. He's been really competitive. See what happens to him getting down into turn 1. He gets hit in the back by Hornaday.
Little clip by Hornaday. Looked like Miguel. I think looked like Miguel came down on Hornaday. Ron had already committed to the bottom of the racetrack. Miguel did a nice job saving that truck.
David Mayhew in the 2 on the inside. So Mayhew goes up into the 3rd spot now. Takes that away from James Busher.
We saw David Mayhew fall out of the top 5 before that caution flag. Looks like the adjustments maybe worked from David Mayhew's truck. Bruce Cook, crew chief on that truck.
Nelson Piquet Jr. on the inside. Colwood on the outside. A battle for the 8th position there.
You can see inside the cab of that truck, Nelson Piquet Jr. working that wheel, trying to get that pass made. Joey Coulter.
Johnny Sauter backing up now as Joey Coulter has taken away the 2nd spot.
Side by side right behind them, James Busher, the 31, the 88 of Matt Crafton.
Here comes my guy, Matt. I looked into his eyes and believed what he was telling me.
He sold you, huh?
He did. I'm all in with Matt tonight.
Busher now working. And we've got the 33 Hornaday around, bringing out the 4th caution.
Gets that thing fired up. He won't lose another lap.
That's coming off turn number 2. See Anderson's maple syrup on board that truck again this year for KHI.
So the 4th caution comes out. Short track racing brings out a few spins every now and then, and the crowd here at Iowa is enjoying every minute of it. Welcome back to the Coca Cola 200 here on Speed from Iowa Speedway. Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip with you up in the booth. Ray Dunlap, Hermie Sadler down on pit road as we're under our 4th caution of this race. We've completed 78 of the 200 scheduled laps. The Aaron's lucky dog goes to Dakota Armstrong, making his first start in the Camping World Truck Series.
Maybe he got that because it's his birthday?
Possible.
Aaron's does not discriminate. They give them to everybody, whether it's
birthday or not.
Let's go back trackside to Hermie Sadler.
Yeah, Rick, a couple trucks that made their way to pit road under this caution. First of all, Johnny Sauter came down pit road. He thought he had a tire going down. So they came down pit road, and crew chief Joe Shear took on 2 right side tires, and they lowered the track bar on the right side to try to tighten him up a little bit. Also, the 23 truck of Jason White you guys talked about, the right front tire that went down, well, it ground off the heim joint on the right front. So basically, no sway bar connection on the right front. They're repairing that on pit road, but losing a lot of valuable time, the 23 truck.
Well, how about the 13 of Johnny Sauter, who has been running up in the top 3-4, now will have to work his way from back in the pack. He's going to restart 20th in this one. Side by side for the restart. Green flag back in the air. Austin Dillon on the high side. David Mayhew on the low side.
Great jump by Austin Dillon. He's able to clear David Mayhew and pull down in front of him.
Yeah, David didn't have a good corner. He got in that corner low, and the truck didn't turn when he got there. Gave James Busher a chance to jump up on the outside.
You know, the sun's going down now. All the crew chiefs are telling the drivers that be aware of what's going on around you. This racetrack is going to change. We need that feedback so we can make the right adjustments.
Well, something changed in the world, Phil, a few years ago when it started to get dark. Used to, it always made your truck just stick to the road better. It tightened it up. But nowadays, I think with so much emphasis on the front ends of these trucks, making all that downforce and trying to get them to cut.
So positive, make the front end so positive.
The front end starts to stick better, but the back end isn't seeming to keep up with it. So, you know, we hear those crew chiefs saying, tell me what you're doing. Let me hear some information so I can make some adjustments. Even to the point of Johnny Sauter just pitted because he thought he had a flat tire. He had gotten so loose. He finds out he doesn't have a flat tire, then he's like, wow, this track has really changed.
Out in front of this field with a big lead is the 3 of Austin Dillon. Ray, what are they talking about?
Well, Rick, it was lap 66 when they first pitted, and as I told you, they took took air out of the front. I'll get this right in just a second. They added air to the right front on the number 3 truck. Anyway, Austin came on the radio to tell Danny Stockman, whatever adjustment you made, it was perfect. When I get on the restart, boy, this thing just grabs and I can go right to any part of the racetrack I like. I really like what you did to change on this track.
Well, Ray, I will absolutely agree with you. On that restart, it looked like that thing was just shot up out of the turns. He had such forward bite. We saw a lot of guys slipping and sliding sideways. Austin was hooked up.
And already, because we've just restarted, Busher is a second and a half behind Austin Dillon. So Dillon has checked out on second place.
Hey, the last 2 laps, he's beaten that second place truck by 0.3 of a second each of the last 2 laps. There's Timothy Peters, the 17 truck, racing with David Starr. That's a battle for the 11th spot just outside the top 10. You see the yellow truck going out of your screen on the left. That's top 09. The 5 truck, he now runs in the top 10.
You know, one of the things you can take a look at here as we look through our top 10, Austin Dillon out in front of this field, but we talked about young drivers maybe getting their first win in the top 6. Dillon is the only driver who has a Truck Series win. So we've got some young guys that are right there in position to strike if Austin Dillon can't hang on.
And those young guys, maybe it's not going to be tonight, but they're going to get a win or 2 or some wins here this year.
Yeah, we're going to probably have to add a couple of guys to that list. It's always changing, but there's some cats that are starting to really show their strength. You look at what Miguel Pluto has done over the last 3 weeks. You see that type of truck control and that type of competitiveness, then you can parlay that into a win. And that's what's fun in the truck series. All these guys, young guys, running toward the front.
There's another guy, Steve Arpin, right there, the 32 truck. There's Justin Lofton, the 46. Justin moved back over to Eddie Sharp, where he won his ARCA championship with. There's a good battle for second on the left. James Busher, Joey Coulter, side by side for second.
Battle for 14th on the right side of your screen. A little bobble there by the 32 of Steve Arpin, but that doesn't slow him down as Justin Lofton still works on the outside as the battle for second continues on the left side of your screen.
Lofton returning to Eddie Sharp. You know, that's another guy you have to say, well, darn, he's running inside the top 15, really strong, solid. You get that chemistry, you get that right relationship with the right crew chief. And these guys certainly have the ability to win, and I think it's coming for a lot of guys.
There's a 62 South Point Toyota. Brendan Gaughan had a great run last week with a third-place finish at Kentucky as that battle for second continues side by side, left side of your screen.
Norm Benning in the 57 that was slow on the bottom of the racetrack as these two went by. Coulter and Busher continuing to fight it out as they cross the stripe. Busher has the advantage that time, still holding on to second. Coulter trying to move forward on the bottom of the racetrack, right?
And remember, Coulter was tight on their first round of pit stops, up 2 rounds on the track bar to try to loosen him up. Joey said to his crew chief, Harold Hawley, next time I only want half as much of an adjustment. That was too big of a swing.
Ray, while these two continue to run side by side, Austin Dillon has put a 3.6 second lead between he and the second place truck of Joey Coulter.
Boy, he wanted that second spot, that corner, didn't he?
Got tired of waiting for it, too. Went and grabbed that baby.
There's the distance. Austin Dillon, 3.6 seconds separating him from Joey Coulter. Dillon, a year ago, led nearly 190 laps in this race. He's well on his way to dominating once again. Friday night, tune in as Sauter, Hornaday, Crafton, and the world's toughest truckers trade some paint in the Music City. Don't miss live coverage from Nashville Friday at 7:30 Eastern on Speed, your exclusive home of NASCAR Camping World Truck Series.
You know, guys, I've been watching the scoring monitor as we just crossed the halfway mark right here, and I don't know that. I think that last lap was the first lap that Austin Dillon didn't have the fastest lap of everybody on the field, and that's Joey Coulter. Now, once he got clear of that side-by-side battle with James Busher, he's been able just about to match the speed that Austin Dillon has. The last lap, he was actually faster.
Halfway flags, like you said, Phil, being shown to the field. Austin Dillon's had a really fun first half of a race. If you're a race car driver, that thing's sticking like glue, and he's driving it hard.
How about these names on the left side of your screen? Looking for their first Camping World Truck Series win and where they're running now.
Oh, we got a spinner on the front straightaway. He's going to hit the wall. Golly.
66, Justin Marks. Hard into that inside wall. And so the front end of his truck totaled.
Man, that's a shame. You come to Iowa and figure out a way to find the only wall that doesn't have safer barrier on it. He broke that wall.
Yeah, they may have to do some repairs to that wall.
Hard into that inside wall.
Slid a long way too to get there. See, it's knocked the breath out of
Pretty good lick there for Justin.
What do you figure he's running when he gets to that wall, Phil? About 100 miles an hour?
I would say at least 100 miles an hour. Probably speeds of upwards of 150 miles an hour in the straightaway. But obviously sliding like that, he scrubbed off a lot of speed, but boy, that thing hits about as square as it can hit.
You can see how much damage it did to that truck and the wall. Luckily, it gave a little. Just think that took away some of the shock to Justin's body.
And he acted somewhat like a safer barrier.
That's exactly how a safer barrier works, and we saw a good example of it there. I don't like calling the safer barriers soft walls. They're not soft. They're still very hard. They just happen to be able to take away some of the energy that the driver feels for the sudden stop. Spreads that, delays the action to the driver over a little bit of time.
So they'll have to work on the wall. That's actually the outside wall of pit road. Let's take another look at what happened here with Justin Marks in the 66.
Oh, he got a little bit sideways, I think, and then there was some contact. It looked like maybe from the 9 of Max Pappas, but it looked like possibly that he got a little bit sideways first before that contact from Max.
I saw those trucks, though, feel like early in the race, maybe lap 10 or 12, all over each other down the front straightaway. So sometimes you just wind up in the same area of another guy. And I don't know if Max, I saw the truck get sideways, but it looked like they were going pretty well straight when he got turned around. Miguel Paludo on pit road.
This is Todd Bodine in the 5. Let's go down trackside to Ray.
Well, what do you do if you're not sure you have a shot at winning? Do something different than the leader. That's what Todd said. Most of these guys know that they can go to like lap 160, and many people said it's way too early to pit, but let's try to do something different. 4 tires went on that International number 5, and they filled it up with Sunoco fuel.
You know, Ray, with 96 laps to go right now, it may be a situation for Mike Hellman Jr. and Todd Bodine to maybe think about rolling the dice here. I think that's a little bit outside what we think they can run for a pit window, but if we have a few caution laps, that's going to help their fuel mileage. Maybe on the outside they can make it the rest of the way.
Yeah, we were talking to some of the crew chiefs earlier, and they were saying we can have some strategy tonight. The tires are good enough. They stay fast enough to where we can get 2 tires. Maybe we don't get tires at all late in the going and stay out. Like you said, Phil, just mix, like they're saying up the road, mix it up. Try something different. And I know the tire that Goodyear has here in Iowa is perfect for that scenario.
Coming up on 8:15 here in Newton, Iowa. You see the sun getting lower on the horizon. The track crew is going to go to work and get that wall straightened back out. So we will take a quick break. We'll be right back with more from Iowa Speedway, Camping World Trucks.
It's Camping World's destination recreation.
Hey everybody, it's Ray. I stopped by the Camping World store today because I want to show you one of the great new products that they just got in. This is the folding cart. And let me tell you what, how many times have you been at a campsite and said, wish I had a way to get some stuff around? Well, boom, there you go. That's how easy it is to get this cart ready to go. And when you want to fold it back up, you pull on that and it goes right back to ready to go away. It's got a telescoping handle on the end here. You pull that out and you're ready to go to town. Now there's a neat feature that I also like. You've got a lot of space in here, but you can use these handy little dividers, which are on Velcro, to go like that, snap it on the side, and now you have a divided compartment. Plenty of room for a couple of little kids. You can throw some adult beverages in here, or your folding chairs that you want to take to the racetrack. Man, this thing comes in extra handy, and when you're ready to go, you say, adios.
I could have thrown my twins in there when they were little and hauled them around.
I want to go camping with that dude. It would be so fun to go camping in the woods with Ray.
What about all the stuff he has? Every one of these races, he has such cool stuff.
Plus, he's so knowledgeable. He knows everything it takes in order to have a great camping adventure. And speaking of which, how about when we go, Ray, let's bring our camper here.
How about
this
a forklift?
This is a great place to camp.
Yeah, you saw some campers on the backstretch, and right now they're working on that wall that Justin Marks moved out of the way. We have a red flag condition now on the racetrack as they're going to replace the section that Justin Marks moved. And we will show you why they have to replace that wall.
There's the contact with
Watch
Justin
this.
Marks.
Look at that violent impact.
And that's what the wall giving.
Yes.
Justin Marks shortening up the 66 truck after sliding out of turn number 4, making serious contact with that inside wall. We'll be back with more of the Coca Cola 200 here on Speed. There are only 8 races left until the chase for the Sprint Cup begins. Who's likely to get in and who's likely to fall out? As the pressure to win mounts, go to speed.com for the latest inside stories, columns, rumors, photos, videos, and news. Red flag condition here at Iowa as Justin Marks moved the inside wall in about 1.5 feet.
after making some serious contact with that wall. And so they're working on it now to try to get it straightened back up. They've brought a replacement piece to put in. We'll take a look once again at how this happened.
Little contact with Max Pappas up off the 4th turn. These guys had a rub earlier, and this rub here ends bad for Justin. Watch this long slide, Phil.
Yeah, it's hard to tell whether there was contact initially to get Justin sideways, but he certainly got sideways. Then the truck straightened out, then it went again, and then he lost control of it. They were very, very close. There's Justin getting out, and anytime you take a lick like that, you can see him. It's going to knock the wind out of you, and it looks like he possibly was holding his chest there as well. It's about as square as you can hit a wall.
We were guessing he probably came off that corner, you know, running over 100 miles an hour. Grass isn't going to slow you down much going sliding across there. So
I'd say he probably at impact was still well over 90 miles to 100 miles an hour. You would be going 150 or 60 at the end of the straightaway, but obviously it happened so early off the corner that he wasn't up to full speed.
Tow truck being brought in to help out with the moving of that wall.
See those black marks there. Ty Dillon, Austin's brother, won a race here earlier today, and now his brother's leading. This could be a big day for the Childress family.
And he messed up the racetrack.
And
put marks all over it.
Hermie Sadler.
Yeah, guys, I've been at the infield care center since the caution flag came out, waiting to get an update or to talk to Justin Marks. Now, they brought an ambulance up, and NASCAR finally gave the official word they are going to transport him, although he is awake and alert, transport him to a local hospital for further evaluation. So we'll update more when we get it, but right now they are transporting him away from the speedway to get some additional testing. Hard lick for Justin Marks here on the front stretch. Rick.
Thanks, Hermie. We'll try to give you any updates if we hear them before the end of this race, but you can always tune to Speed and Speed Center here on Speed to get the update on how Justin Marks is doing. Field, they're moving back up toward the front of pit road. We're still under red flag condition. Welcome back to Newton, Iowa. We're still under a red flag condition after Justin Marks hit the inside wall, separating the front stretch from pit road after sliding through the grass off turn number 4. And they are continuing to work on that section of the wall, trying to get it straightened back out before we go back to racing.
You know, we talk about the weather and what the heat index was. It was well over 125 degrees when we started this race. Right now it's down 10 degrees, and that's going to continue to drop. Ray was reporting during our commercial break how noticeably cooler it's feeling down there. Now, it can't be but so cool with a 91-degree temperature and 114-degree heat index, but it is going to be cooling off from this racetrack, Michael. Could change for these drivers and teams.
Yeah, I think it'll change significantly, especially with this delay, Phil, just getting later and later into the evening. So right now, the crew chiefs are probably huddled with their crew thinking, what are we going to do? How are we going to go about adjusting these trucks to make sure we're as good at the end, especially Austin Dillon as he is right now.
When we went to break last time, you saw Ty Dillon sitting on top of Austin Dillon's pit box. Earlier today, it was the 41 of Ty Dillon dominating right here at Iowa Speedway. He led 193 laps of the 200.
He came back to the scene of his debut in the ARCA Racing Series 1 year ago when he sat on the pole and finished second. Well, he bettered that this time, as you mentioned, in dominating fashion.
There's that young
Ty
man.
Dillon.
Well, what about that lead? 193 laps. Now his brother's been out in front for 78 of them. Ray, have you caught up with the winner from earlier today?
Absolutely, and let's hear from Ty Dillon. It looked like it was a pretty easy run for you today. Was it easy as it looked from standing down here on pit road?
I don't know about easy. It was really hot out there on the track, and our car was awesome. Couldn't thank my guys enough. That 41 Chevy was awesome, and just proud to be driving. That ECR power was awesome, and just so proud of my guys for doing so well all year, and hopefully can keep things going and win that championship.
You know, the ARCA Series is so interesting with the diversity of the racetracks, and a lot of those places your first time there, like Salem and Winchester. Tell me about your thoughts so far of how the year has gone.
I think it's gone awesome. for our team to never be going to all these tracks and to run so well and win 5 races so far is just really showing how well our team's done all year. And hopefully we can just carry this momentum on to all the rest of the tracks and get that points championship.
And you got to beat your brother in the bowling tournament too, right?
Yeah, we got to beat him earlier this week, and hopefully he can go out here and beat these guys tonight. He's looking real good.
All right, could be a double shot for the Dillon brothers tonight right here at Iowa.
Ray, let's see if we can get a hold of Ty's brother, Austin. Austin Dillon, Phil Parsons up in the speed booth. You have a copy?
Got you there, Phil.
Well, we just talked, Ray just talked to Ty down in your pits, and he certainly had a dominating run here. Your truck looks awfully good tonight. Do you anticipate this racetrack change in Austin? You guys going to have to make some adjustments? You going to make one more stop?
We got one more stop ahead of us. I think the track's cooling down, getting faster, freeing up. So we'll just see how it goes here. Right there, I was kind of out front, so I don't know what we need to do here. When Coulter runs with us here, he's been pretty good. So I'll see what I need after this caution, I think.
Yeah, it looked like Joey, once he got clear of that battle, that side-by-side battle he had with James Busher, he was able to match your lap times pretty close. Prior to that, you were 2-3 tenths faster than all those guys for a number of laps.
Seems that our truck really fires off the first few laps better than most people, and then we just kind of go to where everybody else is at. So I think we're fine right now. The truck's handling well. Got to thank Bass Pro Shops and Chevrolet for everything they do for us, and hopefully we can bring it home for them tonight.
You know, Austin, Ty's won a couple already this week. We saw him, obviously. We saw you in Victor Lane with him just a little while ago in the ARCA Racing Series, and he whipped you pretty good in the bowling tournament the other night as well.
I really want to respond to that. Actually, I beat him one-on-one in the bowling tournament. I had a 156 to a 140. We're firing up now, but his team did win, so it is a team competition. But had fun. Let's go racing.
All right, buddy. Great job. And wave to your fans here, Austin, and finish this thing off.
Well, I bet Austin's thinking, why is he telling me what to do? I'm in a race right now. Phil's making me do stuff.
Thanks, guys. So they're taking the damaged wall or portion of the wall away. Again, they're going to straighten that out, and we'll go back to racing. Stay with us here on Speed. After just under a 15-minute red flag condition, we're back to yellow. The trucks are rolling once again here at Iowa Speedway for the Coca Cola 200. If you're wondering why we were under a red flag condition, let's take a look back. Justin Marks coming off the pole.
Really, really close with the 9 of Max Pappas. There may have been contact that initiated this, but you see he gets sideways. Justin got sideways, and then the second time he lost control of it, and here's the result.
Bam.
Big hit with the concrete barrier separating the front stretch from pit road. Justin Marks climbs out of the truck under his own power, but then it looks like maybe he needs to catch his breath. So went to the infield care center, and then they took him by ambulance to a local hospital to do further evaluation.
And what that led to was a 15-minute delay in the action, but it reminds me of the halfway breaks we used to have in the truck series, like old times.
Absolutely.
These guys are regrouped and ready to go at it. They got a plan to go at it for the next 90 laps.
Past the halfway point, Austin Dillon out front. We've had 3 lead changes between 2 different drivers. The Aaron's lucky dog goes to the 4 of Ricky Carmichael, who has a lot of damage to that truck, but he's still been competitive.
He's been very fast. I've been watching that truck and watching his lap times, and it's been amazing that the lap times he's been able to run with the damage he has to that monster Chevrolet. Ray, what's going on with Miguel Paludo?
Well, he just came in and topped off, Phil. Lots of these teams down here still have a set of sticker tires. I asked Danny Stockman. He said he'd like to pit around lap 140 to 145. What's happening on your end, Hermie?
Well, the 88 of Matt Crafton was last on pit road at lap 66. His crew chief Vance Hafley says they'll come back again at lap 135 to 140. He's been making his way to the front. Rick?
Field lined up 2 by 2 once again. Crowd back on their feet. Green flag back in the air. Austin Dillon with a great restart.
David Mayhew pulls up beside of Joey Coulter in a battle for second. It's the first time we've seen Mayhew on the outside, I think, on a restart, and he's going to get that second spot.
Use the momentum to take the second spot away from Joey Coulter. Here comes the 88 of Matt Crafton.
I'm liking the way that outside groove is working, Michael, especially on these restarts.
Lots of options here at the Iowa Speedway. These guys can go wherever they want to try to make up ground.
Joey Coulter continues to battle on the inside of the 88 of Matt Crafton. The battle for third. Johnny Sauter follows those 2 trucks in 5th. And then side by side behind them with James Busher on the inside, Parker Kligerman there on the outside.
These two still trying to figure out who's going to run third. Coulter on the inside, Crafton on the outside, his teammate right behind him in the 13.
Johnny Sauter went to pit road, thought he had a flat, made some adjustments to that truck, and he's been strong since. So both the 88 and the 13 have really good trucks, but I'm impressed with Coulter working the bottom like that. He's able to hang right on the white line, takes the advantage over Crafton.
Crafton and Coulter still door to door as they work their way through 1 and 2. Coulter with the advantage as they go down the backstretch, but here comes Crafton once again. A good run down the backstretch as they go into 3.
Boy, Matt has the momentum from the outside up off the corner. Joey looks like gets through the center of the corner a little bit better than Matt has that momentum from the outside.
Don't you just love these truck guys, though? They don't pull over. They don't let somebody by. They just race as hard as they can go for 200 laps. And Joey Coulter, when he gets that spot away from Matt Crafton, I bet he's thinking, we could have made that a lot easier, Matt. But it's certainly fun to watch from up here. The fans here are awesome. They're all standing on their feet cheering, enjoying this truck battle.
And Michael, one of the reasons I think is these races are shorter. With only 200 laps, they know they have to get it and get it while they can.
That's what these guys are doing. You can see Nelson Piquet Jr. giving James Busher a push, trying to get him past Eichler, who's recovered from that spin earlier, spun right there earlier in the event. Oh, getting a little high off there then.
See Cole Witt coming up behind this group. Cole Witt was able to go by Steve Arpin, take the 10th spot.
It's a battle from 7th through 10th right there. Now 3 wide. Cole Witt makes it 3 wide on the inside.
Eichler's going to check up. He'll fall back behind those two. So Cole Witt on the bottom of the racetrack making some big moves. Nelson Piquet Jr. on the outside, and James Busher just in front of this group.
It'd be nice to go from 10th to 6th and 5th, 7th, excuse me, in one quarter. He almost did it.
He's back in front of the grandstand.
Oh, we got
smoking.
Nice. There was contact there.
Coming out at 17.
Timothy Peters was on the outside of Justin Lofton. Justin didn't know he was there. I can't believe they didn't crash. They got welded together there. We saw the tire smoke.
You see the left front tire of the 17 of Timothy Peters doesn't have any lettering on it anymore.
Check this out, Rick. He tries to get into a hole that it just isn't there. I can't believe that didn't turn Lofton into the wall, Phil.
Doing a nice job of saving, and I think Timothy slammed on the brakes at that point to keep from turning him into the outside wall.
Check that out. That didn't result in a wreck.
It had the makings of one, didn't it?
It had everything.
The trucks are tough.
That's right. Look at speaking of tough, look at that strong move up on the outside by Nelson Piquet Jr. Wanting to take that spot away from James Busher. He's got great momentum down the straightaway.
Across the stripe, Piquet Jr. just in front of James Busher. Now he's making that outside line work for him, keeping the momentum up, and he'll take the spot away on the high side of the racetrack. Cole Witt sees it, decides to go the same place.
Cole Witt started out such a great run through the early part of the season. The last 3 races, best finish 15th, but still comes in here second in points.
Yeah, what an amazing finish it was last week in Kentucky when our top 6 going in points all had issues. When I say issues, Hornaday and Cole Witt get in an accident. The 3 of Austin Dillon, his hood flies up when he's running in second.
Johnny Sauter breaks the transmission or axle at pit, leaving the pit.
Ron Hornaday crashes.
Yeah, what an amazing turn of events that took place in Kentucky.
But what an amazing year it's been for Cole Witt. Sets on the pole down at Darlington week in and week out, top 5, second in points. This kid's done a great job in this Red Bull truck.
He certainly has. Stacy Camp's comping really, really high on Cole Witt. Stacy owns this Turn 1 Motorsports Chevrolet team. PME does the engines for this truck. Fast week in, week out.
Cole Witt running in the 8th position right now. Austin Dillon has a 2.2 second lead over David Mayhew, who's running in the 2nd spot. Joey Coulter, Matt Crafton, Johnny Sauter, your top 5. We're going to be back in 90 seconds. Don't go anywhere. Green flag racing at Iowa Speedway. Under the lights from the Iowa Speedway is the Coca Cola 200 on speed. Austin Dillon with a 2.5 second lead over David Mayhew, Joey Coulter, Matt Crafton, Johnny Sauter, your top 5.
I'll tell you right now, if Austin Dillon could hold on and win this thing, we have an awful long way to go with 73 laps to go. they're going to have to rename this Dillon.
Yeah, this is a
Speedway.
Dillon Speedway. Austin winning his first race here a year ago. Ty winning earlier today in dominating fashion, led 193 laps. Here's a good battle for 15th. David Starr on the inside. At 46, Justin Lofton on the outside.
You know, David Starr's one of the trucks that came down pit road at the very end of this most recent caution flag, so they may be plotting some strategy, Michael, to try to go the rest of the way here. We know that most of the leaders last pitted on lap number 66, so it's going to be sometime in the next 30 laps or so, and we're going to see them have to come to pit road. If they have to come under green, that could really change the complexion of this race.
Yeah, feeling a lot of trucks on the lead lap too. Over 20 trucks still on the lead lap, so that has to play into your decision making as a crew chief as well. You have to understand that if maybe you don't pit, if you pit and everybody else doesn't, you're going to lose all your track position. So there's a lot that will play into how these guys go about managing the rest of this race.
Good run for the 22 of Joey Coulter as he's caught up with that 2 of David Mayhew. These two battling for the second spot. 3.1 seconds now separate Austin Dillon from David Mayhew.
I think we have 4 trucks that I know of that could potentially be trying to make this thing all the way on fuel. That's Miguel Paludo, Brendan Gaughan, the 62 truck, Todd Bodine in the 5 truck, and David Starr, all pitted right at the tail end when the caution came out after the red flag.
These 3 trucks, the last 3 on the lead lap. Dakota Armstrong in that 98 making his first start. Ricky Carmichael in a very damaged race truck, but able to hang in there. And Ryan Sieg in the 39.
I'm just really impressed with the job that Carmichael's doing with that truck all beat up like it is. He's able to hang right in there with these guys racing on the lead lap. 21 trucks on the lead lap. That's the last 3 of them right there.
You know, we talk about this being a short track, and it certainly is. Just it's 7/8 of a mile, just under a mile. But again, we see speeds upwards of 150 miles an hour. So even though it's a short track, aerodynamics are so important nowadays. You know that truck is not handling like it would if that body was straight.
Yeah, the left rear quarter panel, you can see it sticking out outside of the body, which is taking air in behind it in almost a parachute effect to slow that truck down. But still, Ricky Carmichael running on the lead lap.
That's birthday boy he's racing with there, Dakota Armstrong. Scheduled to run 6 or 7 of the last races here in 2011. Debuted tonight, doing a nice job running on the lead lap inside the top 20. He's going to be really surprised when that 4 truck goes by and he sees how bad it's torn up. It's going to make him feel a little bit bad about what's happening right now.
Guys, how about right now with the top 5, all Chevrolets, all powered by ECR engines. So what ECR engines were 1, 2, and 5th in the ARCA race today, and right now running up in the top 5, sweeping the top 5 as of now.
See, Carmichael makes that pass. There's a new guy versus a
veteran.
Thank you, Rick.
I know you didn't want to go old guy with that.
Versus an onion.
Yep, Todd Bodine driving in the 5 truck tonight.
And I'm glad
number 5.
I'm glad Todd Bodine's here. That's cool that those guys figured out a way to get to Iowa and race. And racing he is. Like you said, Phil, he's got his gas. Think he can make it to the end. He's the first one of those guys that has fuel, so he's got a leg up on him.
And I think we have to add the 17 of Timothy Peters to that list as well. So right now I've got, by my calculations, about 5 trucks that may be planning on trying to make it to the end.
David Starr looking to the inside of Miguel Paludo.
This is a couple of them. Both these guys pitted after the red flag, got some gas, have their sights on making it to the end, and at this point, they're both hoping there's no caution. You know, the caution flies, that advantage that they've created totally goes out the window. So they're hoping things stay green for a while.
Absolutely. And this race has a little bit of a green look to it right now.
Since the red flag, we have been caution free. Run quite a few laps. 31 right now since the red flag was out.
See Clay Rogers there sneaking into that battle as well. Clay's one of the drivers that ran in the race earlier today, the ARCA race, and now he's doing double duty.
Clay had a top 10 finish in the ARCA race, had a good run.
60 laps remain. We're on lap 140 now of 200.
You know, guys, we talked about this tire that Goodyear brought here not really falling off all that much. So these guys aren't slipping and sliding around like if this tire was losing a second or a second and a half with a lot of laps on them. So these trucks are essentially a lot like they were when they started out a run with fresh tires.
And Phil, as we're closing in on now 141 laps, there's a lot of drivers that have got to be thinking, okay, we've got green flag pit stops coming up here probably in the next 15 laps.
I think so.
So a difficult situation for some drivers that will have to go against the strategy of the others that have gambled coming early onto pit road with the idea that they might be able to stay out. Austin Dillon, no gamble up front. 2-second lead over David Mayhew, Joey Coulter, Matt Crafton, and Johnny Sauter out front in the top 5. Racing Electronics is offering speed viewers a year-long inside deal. Reserve your next race scanner or fan view online for any NASCAR race and save $10. Visit speed.com/deals. Click on the Racing Electronics banner for more information. Under the lights here at Iowa Speedway, Austin Dillon out in front of the field. We would expect some of the lead lap trucks to be on pit road for green flag pit stops within the next 10 laps.
Yeah, and you're looking at second, third, and fourth there, all cutting their way through traffic, tightening up at the front.
Pass for second while we were away. Joey Coulter was able to get by David Mayhew running that higher line.
Yeah, they've been running together for a number of laps. Joey got a nice run through the center of the corner, then had the momentum. David had to give him room up on the high side. Joey was able to finish it, pass down to the other end of the racetrack.
Parker Kligerman on pit road, right?
Yeah, their fuel mileage not quite as good as some of these other guys. They knew they were planning on coming in around 149 to 151 was their window. They're packing that thing full of fuel. He's had a radio issue the last 20 laps. His spotter goes to talk, and it's just really lots of information. Looks to me like they must have that truck stalled. They can't get it back fired again. They're sitting there way too long for sure. Now for the 3, our leader, he can come in anywhere between 157 and 159. I expect the 2 truck of David Mayhew right in that exact same window there. And guys, remember, Phil, the ones you're talking about, like Todd Bodine, they pitted at lap 104. Many of them giving up some good track position, but it was a gamble. These crew chiefs are saying, man, I hope we get a yellow.
Yeah, the thing is, if all these guys like Austin Dillon come to pit road and then the caution flag were to come out, then Todd Bodine, Timothy Peters, and David Starr and all those guys, they could elect to stay on the racetrack, Michael, and there wouldn't be any waiver rounds. So they would keep all those trucks a lap down. If Todd and those guys would elect to come to pit road, then that would allow those other guys to take their waiver round. But if I'm Todd Bodine, Mike Hellman, and then I'm not, and I think I can make it on fuel, I'm going to stay out and keep all those trucks that pit under green.
Oh, we got a
lap
low
down.
tire up in turn 4.
And hard. Up against the wall, the 4 of Ricky Carmichael. Once again, the caution will come out, and all of that strategy we talked about goes out the window.
Out the window. Totally out the window. Just forget what I just said.
We had it covered for you, fans. If you wanted to know exactly how this was going to play out, if that didn't happen, we had your bases covered. But, man, we talked about these being safer barriers and not soft walls. Did you see how much narrowed up the front of that Ford truck was after that contact? Must be 3 feet narrower now.
It's been a rough race for Ricky Carmichael. Damage to the rear of that truck, now damage to the right front, the whole right side.
It's been a rough year for Ricky Carmichael. Big crash up at Dover, had a bad crash at Darlington.
Been really competitive in the races. He's been able to get to the end. See him, right front tire goes down, Michael, and nothing he could do about it. He'd locked the brakes up, and it actually spun the truck a little bit sideways.
Follow along with Parker Kligerman. Watch this tire blow out.
Hard into the wall for Carmichael.
Yeah, tough break for Parker Kligerman. We saw him run out of fuel after come to pit road. He's being shown 3 laps down now.
And he'll get one of them back here, I reckon, when everybody pits. But certainly,
after 2 runner finishes in a row, got up into the top 5 in points, and that's going to really, really hurt Parker Kligerman. Right now, as they run, being shown back in the 8th position in points.
What about Todd Bodine and some of those guys, Phil? Do they stay out here and try to get some track position?
The tires haven't been falling off much, Michael.
Maybe if you have a truck that you can run 10th or 12th with and you can grab a top 2 or 3 restart spot, you only fall back to 5th or 6th, that's obviously making progress. So.
Get a little cleaner air than you've had the entire race.
Pit road is open. Here comes Austin Dillon. We go to Hermie.
Yeah, the 88 of Matt Crafton, what a big break for him to get this caution. He was less than 5 laps away from having to pit under green. They're taking 4 tires, half pan air to the left front. It's Sunoco fuel, right?
Danny Stockman said we need a lot of fuel in this thing to get the balance right. They're going to go with 4 tires for Austin Dillon. He comes in as the leader. He's at his stop right now. The guys will go to work there. In the middle, you see Joey Coulter. Their plan is to pull a spring rubber out of the left rear. That could take them a little time. They rolled in second. Crafton already on his way down. And you see in the very first pit stall, it's David Mayhew. Mayhew came in running third. They will clean the grill there. Mayhew gets pulled away. Real good stop there. Oh, a lot of congestion as these guys go off pit road. Austin Dillon is going to lose multiple spots.
That is a big gamble for the 5 team. A quick stop for Todd Bodine to get him out in front of the guys who came on pit road.
Yeah, not one of the trucks that were possibly going to try to get to the end stayed on the racetrack. Every single one of them came to pit road.
Austin Dillon leading when he came on to pit road. Todd Bodine wins the race off of pit road. Just past sunset here in Newton, Iowa. The Iowa Speedways. We're winding down the laps. 43 remaining. Todd Bodine came off of pit road first, and so he will be leading this field. Austin Dillon came onto pit road in the lead, but lost 7 spots on pit road and was not happy at all. Here's some communication between his spotter and he on the racetrack.
Hey, we know how good we are. We don't have to get it in one lap. We will get it back. We will get it back. You just, I mean, you're going to have to get after it. You know what I mean? But stay calm and be smart.
Yeah, I got to get after it. We are. We can't do this all year.
Or we can just quit. You don't want to just quit, do you?
I don't have quit built in me.
You know, Austin Dillon was on a dominating performance, and that just goes to show you how tough it is to win one of these things. A lot of things have to go correctly, and the pit stop on pit road didn't. Can he overcome it? It's a lot of trucks to pass.
A lot of good trucks, too. He has his teammate, the 22, Joey Coulter, right in front of him. Joey's been really good. You have David Mayhew right now starting up on the front row. He's been good. He hasn't been able to quite match the speed that Austin's had, but again, you've got a lot of trucks to negotiate through.
Aaron's lucky dog goes to the 39 of Ryan Sieg. How about the scenario that's in front of us now? Todd Bodine has never won on a short track. He has a lot of wins in his career, but never on a short track. So now Todd Bodine is not driving the 30 truck. Wasn't sure he was even going to be able to come to this race. This ride opens up in the 5 for Randy Moss Motorsports, and he's leading the race at Iowa with just 42 laps to go.
You see the big goose egg, 43 starts in his career, no wins. Now he has one at Phoenix, and all of us in the industry really call Phoenix a short track, even though in NASCAR terms it's a super speedway because it's 1 mile in length. But right now, 0 for 43 for Todd Bodine, and man, would he like to make it 1 for 44.
That'd end a pretty interesting week for Todd Bodine, wouldn't it? Started out this week without a ride, got called, said, come get in the seat. We got you something to drive, and now he's put it out front. Going to be just outside of 40 to go with the lead. But Todd got the lead by just coming to pit road and getting a splash of gas, just enough gas to get to the finish. All the trucks around him have tires, and so it'll be interesting to see if Todd can hang with them. Phil, you talked about the fact that the tires don't fall off, and Todd's tires are warm. They're up to temperature right now, and they've got the proper air pressure in them. Maybe if he can just squirt away for a lap or two, we can do like we said earlier. He can get that track position, hold on to it, and get a better finish than he was going to get at least.
He's probably never had clean air tonight, so there's no telling what that truck may do in clean air, but he also has David Mayhew right beside him there, and David's been good on the restarts. We'll see what he does on this restart. A lot of experience there in that 5 truck on the outside.
And there's a lot of experience in that 2 truck in restarts. That kid's raced all up and down the West Coast. He's raced here. He knows how to race a truck, and he knows how to race a vehicle. Now he's showing pretty much that he knows how to race any kind by hopping in his truck and putting it on the pole.
So Todd Bodine will set the pace coming out of turn number 4. Mayhew on the inside. Green flag goes in the air.
Todd pulled a fast one. Looks like he backed off the throttle. Had to get David Mayhew on the brakes and then took off.
That truck just didn't stick, Phil. You could see right around the top, Matt Crafton. Mayhew got stuck behind Bodine.
And away goes Matt Crafton. Crafton in front, and they're 3 wide behind him.
Telling y'all, I could see it in his eyes.
Crafton has never won on a short track either, because he's only won one race. It was in Charlotte on a 1.5-mile racetrack.
See, Austin has the inside now on his teammate. Austin already up to the 5th spot, moving forward.
Austin Dillon was so disappointed with the stop, but already up into the 4th position, battling for 3rd.
Wow, that was an impressive couple of laps for Austin Dillon. His spotter told him he was going to have to get after it.
He did.
I think he did.
I think he did.
So now Dillon up into the 3rd position. Back goes the 5 of Todd Bodine into 4th. Just behind him, Joey Coulter in the 22. Now, Cole Witt ducks to the inside, tries to take the position away from Coulter.
Joey Coulter lost some momentum because he was hung up behind the 5 of Todd Bodine. That allowed Cole Witt to get up beside him. Now the 3 wide. Look at Johnny Sauter go through the middle.
Coulter got loose up in turns 3 and 4, and that allowed the door to open up, and Johnny jumped through the door. Look at Starr getting sideways. These guys are driving hard here. Let's go.
PK also sideways in that number 8. Getting after it, as you mentioned. 46 of Justin Lofton moving up there as well. There goes Timothy Peters in the 17. We ride along with Brian Eichler.
The Toyota onboard of Brian Eichler overcame an early spin now to run up in the top 10.
He's got company, though, in that top, battling for that 10. Trucks all over the place.
Cole Witt just lost the 5th spot to Johnny Sauter. Jinx Busher to the inside in that 31, trying to go by Brian Eichler.
Ooh, Justin Lofton slides up through the corner and up the racetrack.
35 laps to go. Nelson Piquet now to the inside of David Starr. That'll be for the 8th spot.
Austin Dillon, the fastest truck on the racetrack that last time by over 1/10 of a second.
Starr quite a bit slower on the racetrack. We saw Timothy Peters go by. A little contact there between Brendan Gaughan and the 7 of Miguel Paludo.
You know, as wide as this track is, Phil, they all want to come off turn 4 and run into the wall. You find that hard to believe, but it's just
the same place. They want to be in the same place. Steve Harkin gets split by a couple trucks. Justin Lofton, the 46, Brian Eichler in the 18. Here's Parker Kligerman, but remember, Parker being shown 2 laps down right now.
Ron Hornaday has raced himself. Oh, trophy.
James Busher has to go to the low side of the racetrack as the 81 of David Starr came down on him.
Nelson Piquet Jr., the fastest truck on the racetrack that last time.
Still out front, Matt Crafton. He's got a 6/10 second lead over David Mayhew. Austin Dillon still holding on to the 3rd spot as we see him close the gap now on Mayhew.
Both these trucks right now within a second of our leader, Matt Crafton. You know, Austin would love to get in front of that 2 truck of David Mayhew, so he would only have that 88 truck of Matt Crafton.
Look at Mayhew diving into that corner. You think these guys aren't on the gas? He's sideways entering the corner, but he held his ground with Austin Dillon. It's really interesting. The fastest trucks are now back running 6th, 7th, and 8th because this guy doesn't have that track position he had before. He's having to battle with Mayhew, and they're not running up to speed.
I tell you what, that was a very smart move by Austin Dillon right there. He was going to the outside of the 2 of Mayhew, saw that Norm Benning was slower on the bottom of the racetrack, knew that Mayhew was going to come up, so he got out of the gas a little bit, gave him that room, knowing that there's 31 laps to go, and he still has a truck that could win this race.
He certainly does. He needs to dispatch of David Mayhew right now. They're not losing that much ground to our leader. Good run by Austin Dillon off the corner. Looks to the inside.
This truck is so fast.
Mayhew's going to give him room on the inside. Austin gets in the throttle. He has his nose up there.
Here comes Dillon as they go by the grandstand, side by side for second. Dillon trying to take positions back after being so dominant early in this race. He's got second. Now he sets his sights on Crafton.
You watch him drive up on Crafton, too. This is the guy that we're going to have to beat. Austin Dillon is so fast.
Ray Dunlap.
Guys, just to add, how about Andy Houston on the spotter stand giving him all kinds of information. 2 laps prior to that pass, he said, you're exiting corner 2 a little bit too low and you're dragging the splitter. Go up a quarter of a lane. Austin said, yeah, the last 2 laps I felt it. I was losing time there. He came up off the track, went about 3/10 faster that lap.
Check this out. David Starr was racing hard on the front straightaway with James Busher. You heard me go, whoa. That's because I thought there was going to be another crash on the front straightaway. Watch these 2 trucks get together. Look how much that truck was out of shape.
At least 35 degrees sideways. What a great save by David Starr.
You think maybe that bump was because of something that happened sooner? Earlier, excuse me?
Could have. A lot of payback on a racetrack of this size.
You can see that Buscher's driven away from Starr. Timothy Peters sits between the two.
As a buffer. Out in front, Crafton, not the fastest truck on the racetrack. It's Austin Dillon who continues to click off laps faster than anyone else and closing the gap now between first and second.
You can see the distance right there inside of 7/10 of a second. We'll see what Austin does this lap. Can he gain on him this lap?
60 seconds. We're going to dip away. We'll be right back with more green flag racing from Iowa. Welcome back. Coca Cola 200 from Iowa Speedway. Matt Crafton still in front of Austin Dillon, but the gap continues to close between Dillon and Crafton.
Just over half a second right now. Austin Dillon able to gain over a tenth. Gets hung up behind the 0-2 truck. Gets to the inside of him. It's one thing to catch him, Michael, but you know how hungry Matt Crafton is. You saw it in his eyes. How hard is it going to be for Austin Dillon to get by him when he catches him?
Well, we saw how quickly he ran down David Mayhew, but he had to run behind him for 6, 8, 10 laps. Well, we're getting to the point now where Austin Dillon doesn't have 6 or 8 or 10 laps. So when he gets there, we could see some action. And I think he will get there. It'll just be a matter of he can get around him or not.
He's definitely gaining on him.
Yep. Searching for different lines around this racetrack to close that gap. We heard Andy Houston giving him some inspirational words before the restart.
Andy must be real comfortable with his job, the way he was talking to Austin. But I think Austin's fired up. It's working. So if Austin's able to pull off this win, Andy will probably get a pat on the back instead of a kick in the butt.
Really good through the center of the turn is Austin Dillon. You can see him closing that gap between he and the 88.
That looked like a great corner. See how much he gains on him. Over 2/10 of a second that lap. You can see that right now we got 3 truck lengths.
Through the center of the turn, Austin Dillon is so much better right now than Matt Crafton. He's able to close the gap. What line will he take to try to get by the 88? That's the big question now.
The interesting thing about this track, though, Phil, is there's so many ways to pass a guy. You can go high, you can go low. So you don't have to necessarily run into another guy. And when you don't have to run into someone, you just pass him, then you can't retaliate. You know, you're just like, well, darn, he's better than me. So yeah, I think these two will race clean, but we're talking about winning a NASCAR Camping World Truck Series race. A big race here in Iowa with tons of fans here. I think these guys both are hungry. I know Matt Crafton is hungry, but Austin's mad. So let's see how this plays out.
There's a good battle for third right now. Johnny Sauter really fast. He's chased down the 2 of David Mayhew. He moves up the racetrack. David gets a good run off the corner.
What about Sauter last time? By about 3/10 better than our 2 leaders. So you're right. He's very fast. See how quickly he can get rid of Mayhew. Maybe he goes and joins this battle for the win.
Now, I know as drivers, you guys always say that you're right on the edge and you've got, you know, the best laps. You're trying to click off lap after lap. But when you get a guy that closes in on your back bumper, do you just dig a little bit more to try to get a little bit more out of that truck like Matt Crafton's doing right now?
I think you do, but sometimes you overdrive this stupid thing and you start losing ground if you're watching that mirror. So the best thing you can do is just focus on what's ahead of you, concentrate on your line, run your line, and hopefully
hit your marks.
And if you're looking in the mirror, the marks are hard to hit.
They are. They are. They're usually out the front, windshield.
Nelson Piquet just does away with Cole Witt.
And right by Witt goes Nelson Piquet Jr. for that 6th spot. So another great run for Nelson Piquet Jr.
Austin's closed right up within a couple truck lengths now. He was a 0.5 of a second faster that last lap. See what it is this lap. Again, about 1/10 of a second faster. Now we can throw away the stopwatch. There it is right there.
14 laps remaining. 14 more times around this 7/8 mile racetrack they have to go. Crafton out in front of Austin Dillon.
Matt Crafton needs to focus on your line, on his line, hit his marks, and not worry about how big that 3 truck in his mirror is. But man, that's certainly way easier said than done. He also needs to be a little bit defensive. You know, he's going to have to try to, if that 3 truck starts going up the hill like he is there, Matt's going to need to run up the hill too, and that's just what he does.
Here comes the 3 to the bottom of the racetrack. He gets the nose on the inside of the quarter panel. That means Crafton has to run a bit higher. Battle for the lead as they come out of turn number 4.
That's exactly how he passed David Mayhew for the 2nd spot. Austin has a lead at the line.
Dillon in front of Matt Crafton. Crafton trying so hard to get back to victory lane. Dillon trying to defend his win here from a year ago.
Look at the run Crafton gets off the corner. He's able to get that truck out in front of Dillon, take away the line that Austin wanted to run, and he gets the lead back. Matt Crafton will be credited for leading this lap.
Crafton back in front of Dillon as they went to the stripe. The crowd all on their feet as they watch this all unfold.
Really hard from the bottom of the racetrack on the inside through all those bumps. Austin stays even with him. That's a good corner for Austin.
Down the backstretch into turn number 3. Dillon on the inside, Crafton on the outside, fighting for the lead. Crafton again with a great turns 3 and 4, and he's got a truck link now as he crosses the stripe.
Look who's coming, Phil. This side-by-side battle for the lead has allowed the guys running 3rd, 4th, and 5th to close on the 2 leaders. Here they come. We could have a 5-way battle for the win here in Iowa.
Inside of 10 laps to go right now. Ooh, Austin got wiggled right there going in 3.
Crafton falls back 2 truck lengths from our race leader, Matt Crafton. Here comes Mayhew in the 2. Crafton so close to another win.
Lap traffic ahead that these guys will have to deal with as well, so the plot continues to thicken. If Matt Crafton needs to do everything he can to keep Austin from getting on the outside of him. I think he was able to hold off that fight because he could pinch Austin down a little bit. Austin's better. I think if he gets up on the high side of him, he'll just drive around him. And Matt doesn't have any defense for that. His defense when he's on the bottom is pinch him down, take his line away. And he did it masterfully. What a great job by Matt Crafton.
Austin had a bit of a run, and Matt moved up the racetrack to stall that run. Joey Coulter's on board right there, running behind the 13 of Johnny Sauter.
Yeah, that's 3rd, 4th, and 5th right here. Crafton able to get by the lap traffic a little bit easier. Dillon's held up. Now there's 6 truck links between Crafton and Austin Dillon.
Huge advantage for Matt Crafton through those lap trucks right there. Gained about 5 truck lengths. That may be insurmountable right now.
Could be the biggest move of the race for Matt Crafton, able to get by the slower lap traffic. Here's a great battle building between Sauter and Coulter. Coulter trying to take away 4th from Johnny Sauter. Again, Johnny Sauter, your points leader coming in, but a close battle here in the Camping World Truck Series. 5 laps remaining when Crafton crosses the start-finish line.
Austin got there, but he wasn't able to make the pass, and now he's losing ground to Matt Crafton. I think maybe Matt says, darn, I got this, baby.
Good run through the center of the corner for Joey Coulter. He has a lap truck, and the lap truck moves down in front of Joey Coulter.
And so Coulter has to back up. Loses the spot back to Johnny Sauter. There's your race leader. Going out of the screen to the left. A good battle between the 13 and the 22. 4 laps of racing to go.
And Austin Dillon gained ground on Matt Crafton that time by over 0.2 of a second faster than Matt. Look, he's there again, Phil.
Yeah, see if Matt gets held up by Max Pappas at all, Austin will be right on him.
Max Pappas just in front of race leader Matt Crafton. Crafton goes to the high side. Here comes Dillon. He's got the momentum behind him. This time by, it'll be 3 laps remaining. The gap is closed now to 2 truck lengths as they cross the stripe.
Give the advantage to Austin Dillon through that lap truck.
Dillon was the fastest truck on the track that time by. Does he have enough time? And if he does catch him, can he get by him? Austin Dillon trying to go back-to-back at Iowa Speedway. Matt Crafton trying to get back to victory lane.
How come every truck race, it's always drama all the way to the end?
2 laps of racing to go. Battle for 3rd continues on the right side of your screen. Coulter down low. That's a battle for 4th. Joey Coulter on the inside. Johnny Sauter on the outside.
David Mayhew has been able to drive away from these 2, Phil, since they've been battling side by side. Coming to the white, Matt Crafton's got the lead.
Crafton will see the white flag one more time around to get his 2nd career win in the Camping World Truck Series.
We've got the 33 lap truck of Ron Hornaday. Are they going to get to him?
Down the backstretch they go. Crafton with a 2 truck length lead over Austin Dillon.
What an amazing job Matt Crafton did holding off that surge of Austin Dillon.
Coming through 3 and 4. Coming up on slower lap traffic. Matt Crafton's going to see the checkered flag. Crafton will win in Iowa.
What a great race.
Cole Witt is able to stay in front of James Busher. It's Crafton, Dillon, Mayhew, Sauter, Coulter, Witt, Busher, Nelson Piquet Jr., David Starr, and Todd Bodine finishes in 10th.
You know, now Matt Crafton can quit all the talk about when are you going to get that second win. He had it before he got his first win. Ever since, when are you going to get that second win? He's got it tonight.
Should we start on when are you going to get that
when
third win?
When are you going to get that third win?
How about Matt Crafton? Gets his second career win in his 258th start in the Camping World Truck Series.
And he did it in such amazing fashion. We knew Austin Dillon would catch him. He was faster. We knew that it would be a battle that Matt Crafton had to overcome a faster truck, and he did just that, Rick. I love watching that. I love the job that Matt did. He drove a perfect race to get this win, and that's what you got to do in the Camping World Truck Series. You got to be about perfect if you're going to win.
And he was.
Let's go to the winning crew chief. He is with Hermie.
Well, Vance, your crew did it at the right time, and your driver did a heck of a job holding his line on the racetrack, pulling this one out. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. The pit crew won this race for us. The driver did an awesome job on the racetrack, but that last pit stop was awesome. That Menard Chevy was on a rail at the end of the race. I got to give it to Crafton. He held off Austin, and I know he wanted it bad. I know he did. Thank you very much.
Congratulations. These guys are going to victory lane, Rick.
Yeah, Bud Hafley, I tell you, the guy has put in his time. And Thor Sport has done such a masterful job of building this team into such a great organization now in the Camping World Truck Series.
Both teams now have been in victory lane. Johnny Sauter won at Martinsville. Now Matt wins here at Iowa. We were just talking about Matt. That's the first time in 3 years that he strung together 4 finishes outside the top 10, and he comes back with a victory.
I could see it in his eyes, y'all.
And Michael saw it in his eyes earlier. We actually had breakfast with him at Perkins this morning.
Did y'all see it in his eyes?
We didn't see it at that time. I think I saw scrambled eggs. How about this? He celebrates for the second time in his NASCAR Camping World Truck Series career. And a big, big win here on a short track, Iowa Speedway. We'll hear from him next. Welcome back to Iowa Speedway. The Coca Cola 200 just coming to a fantastic finish. And the 88 of Matt Crafton goes to victory lane. Let's go there now with Hermie.
Here he is, Matt Crafton, career victory, number 2. Matt Crafton, a couple things. Number 1, your crew on that money stop nailed it for you. And on the racetrack, what a heck of a job of bogging that 3 truck down, holding your line, and pulling off this victory. Great job.
Yeah, I knew the 3 truck was really good. We started getting a little bit free in right there on that long run, so then I had to try to back it up. And I can't thank these fans for coming out here and enduring this heat all day. And this Menard Chevy ideal door truck was awesome. It was awesome in practice. We didn't do a mock run, so we're not worried about it. This thing is bad to race, and we proved it tonight. And that's what about not giving up. We had 4 races in a row. We're absolutely miserable. So it was sweet.
When you saw the 3 truck coming, obviously he'd been the class of the field until then. Did you think you could hold him off? And what did you think you had to do line-wise on the racetrack to get the job done?
I just had to hold him down. I mean, that's the thing is my right rear had gotten hot right there, and I made the right rear hot, and I'd just gotten really loose into the center. And so I backed up the entry, and he caught me. So then I saved just enough so I could drive it back down in the corner with him. I mean, it was an awesome race right there at the end. Like I said, I can't thank these guys enough. Menard's ideal door again, and every one of these guys for working their butts off this week. When they moved to race shop and built the truck, they went to victory lane.
Well, that's Matt Crafton. What a total team victory. Ray Dunlap, the crew, gets it done on pit road, and the driver seals the deal on the racetrack.
Yeah, Hermie, lots of celebration over there. I'm sitting with Austin Dillon. We're only about 75 feet from that victory lane. I know you wanted to be there bad tonight. But how much consolation can you take in the fact that you came from 8th back up to 2nd after that last pit stop?
Yeah, I mean, I got 7 of the 6. I needed track positions too big. I didn't know he had 4 tires. I thought I was racing 2 tires too. So he had 4. So that was a hell of a pit stop. Congrats to his team. That's awesome. I want to thank Bass Pro Shops and Chevrolet. We had the truck to beat tonight. That's 3 I think we've given away: Texas, Kentucky, and here. So. I think it's good that we've got fast trucks. It was good to get a 2nd finally to finish a race. So just got to keep on chipping at the points, I guess. We might be 2nd now, maybe, hopefully.
Okay, Austin Dillon, very not happy about not winning, but happy about how they rebounded.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at the unofficial results, and I want you to look at the top 8 and look at the manufacturer. for the top 8. Yeah, Chevrolet dominant here at Iowa Speedway.
Well, they certainly were, but what a great job that Matt Crafton did holding off Austin Dillon. Austin, I think, had the better truck at the end, but Matt was able to do what he needed to do to keep Austin behind him.
Look at some of these young cats chasing them. You got David Mayhew there in 3rd, Joey Coulter 5th, Busher 7th, Cole Witt 6th, 20 years old. That's so great for this series. You never know who's going to win next week.
Top Bodine didn't even know he was coming here and ends up getting a phone call Wednesday morning, ends up with a top 10 finish.
Disappointing night for Ron Hornaday. Spun around off turn 2 over there. Couple of laps down at the end.
Dakota Armstrong making his first ever start in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, ends up 2 laps down, but a 21st place finish.
Yeah, Parker Kligerman 22nd by running out of fuel. What a tough break. He had a strong top 10 truck the entire night.
Let's go down to David Mayhew, who finished 3rd tonight. He's with Ray.
Yeah, started from the pole, and it was an up and down night. Summarize how it went from your perspective.
Well, the first 20 laps or so were awesome. We were just checked out, gone, but then the track started to cool down, and we were afraid of that. I mean, qualifying so good in the daytime, and got caught back there on the restart. I missed a shift, and Johnny got underneath me, and when you're 3 wide, it just gets so loose, and inexperience just played its toll right there. But Bruce made some awesome adjustments and kept getting it better and better, and we had a shot at him there at the end, just couldn't quite fire off like we needed to.
You're going to see any more this year?
We're going to run a few more truck races. Not sure what truck number we'll be in, but we'll be out there. Just got to thank Bruce, all the guys. They gave me an awesome truck, MMI Services, KHI, Kevin Delana for giving me the opportunity to drive such great equipment.
Congratulations. Good run. David Mayhew brings it home in 3rd place tonight here at Iowa.
Well, Matt Crafton hasn't been able to do this very often, but look at the smile on his face when he's able to jump up on the door of the winning truck. Crafton gets his 2nd career win. Comes here at Iowa. NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Camping World and the Good Sam RV Club. Everything for the RV lifestyle, including RVs, accessories, warranties, insurance, roadside assistance, and more. And by Touch of Gray. Gets rid of some gray, never all. Ray Dunlap.
Hey guys, 5 of the last 6 races for the 22 team have been a 7th place finish or better. I know you guys got it going on, but how about that track position tonight, Joey?
It was, I was surprised. I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal, but it was huge. I mean, we had a real good truck. I think we were fast enough to win. We kept running real good lap times, but we just kind of got bottled up on that restart, and we just couldn't quite get by them fast enough. But had a great truck. Guys on the team did an awesome job. Pit stops were great. And, you know, I'm just glad we brought it home in one piece. There was a couple times where it got a little bit hairy, but I had a lot of fun. I can't wait to go back to ORP. I know we're getting close.
All right, you guys think about how much, Hermie, how much it is just about learning experience here, and Joey Coulter certainly getting that.
Yeah, catching up with Max Pappas. Obviously, a report that Justin Marks is doing okay after the accident. We want to get a word from you because you two guys were racing on the racetrack when that accident occurred. Tell us from your perspective what happened on the track.
You know, like, honestly, I'm not really sure. I need to look at it. I came out of 4, and I was battling with a guy on the outside, and I think I got too close to the guy on the outside, and he turned me in, and I think what I did that I hit the 66, and if I did something wrong, I apologize to Justin. He's just a great guy. You know, I really felt bad, you know, about seeing him going to the wall. It was, you know, definitely not intentional if I did something wrong, but, you know, it definitely was not really worth it, you know, because we're kind of in the back, and, you know, it's kind of, you know, that's not what you want to see.
That's Max Pappas. That's from his side. Rick?
Well, thanks, Hermie. And actually, from social media, we did get a tweet from Justin Marks' wife, Erin. It said, so hard lick for Justin Marks tonight. We're in the hospital for some tests, but all good. So that's great words coming from the Marks family.
Yeah, and Max said, hey, if I touched him, man, I sure didn't mean to, because Max doesn't drive like that.
No, Max never has a reputation of just wrecking somebody.
Take a look at the Ford point standings, the unofficial point standings. Austin Dillon was right. He had a good points night, moves up to 2nd now in front of Cole Witt. Johnny Sauter still has a 22-point lead over Austin Dillon. Let's go down to Hermie.
Well, Johnny Sauter ended up with a top 5, and you guys fought back a couple times from a flat tire and lost a lot of track position, but good battle to get back to a top 5.
Yeah, sure. First of all, I want to congratulate Matt Crafton, Bud Hafley, Menards, everybody on that team. It's a long time coming. So proud of those guys, proud of everybody at ThorSport. We had that flat tire, and you know, you come out of the pits 25th after we just put tires on, so you just got to use it up pretty much, and track position's everything. You know, I could pass guys for about 20 laps until the tires would equalize with everybody, and then you're just kind of just there. So I'm just proud of Joe, all the guys. You know, not what we wanted. I thought we had a better truck than that, but nonetheless, top 5's good for where we've been the last 2 weeks.
It's Johnny Soto, top 5, and he passed a lot of trucks tonight.
Thanks, Hermie. We want to take a look at the winning touch by Touch of Gray. What was that winning touch? How about the restart?
Yeah, Todd Bodine did fuel only, came out with a lead. How about Matt Crafton pushing Todd by David Mayhew, and watch his zoom by on the outside.
Yeah, he knew that he had to go right then. He had some track position. He wanted to take advantage of it. Some really fast trucks behind him. That's exactly what he did. He just drove off. Here comes Austin after him.
He got to him, but wasn't able to get by him.
He got all the way by him once, but Matt was able to come back. That was an awesome race.
Celebration. That was the winning touch by Touch of Gray.
How about that result?
How about that smile on Matt Crafton's face?
And it'll stay there for quite some time.
How about the distance from first to second? That's as far as it could ever possibly be.
Yeah, 0.3 of a second.
Well, not the literal distance, just how it feels. Austin Dillon depressed and disgusted to run second. Matt Crafton just 75 feet away from him, having the time of his life.
This was one of those races. You come to a short track race. This track really almost built for the Camping World Truck Series. Great side-by-side racing, multiple lines.
We saw it all night long. Just what a great facility here. And how about these drivers? Do they put on a show here?
They just run right on the edge for 200 laps.
And how about your winner tonight, Matt Crafton? It's been a long time, 80 races since he went to victory lane, but he does it again. Career win number 2 for Crafton.
Next week, the Camping World Truck Series will make an encore performance at the Nashville Super Speedway. Last April, Kyle Busch got the win and jammed on his 3rd Gibson guitar. Will somebody be poised to win their first? Tune in to find out. Chris Devoda hosts the setup starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, followed by flag-to-flag coverage, only on Speed.